for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Once again, it's our boy Coach Malachi Williams in the building. You are now in tune to the New Media Today USA Boxing Podcast. And it is what it is, baby boy. We happy to have another day to be alive. Any day that you wake up, it's a good day. You see what I'm saying? No matter how hard yesterday was, today is a better day. You want to know why? Because you woke up this morning. You woke up today. So it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to get right into it, man. I want to appreciate everybody for rocking with the old boy. You know how we do it. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to my main man, Smile Back If You're Ugly. Shout out to Kathy W. What's good, sis? Shout out to Jayden One. Shout out to Scott Level. Shout out to my sister Lisa Bells. Shout out to Boxing Clever. What's going on, fam? Boxing Clever, what's going on? You know what I mean? Shout out to Karma Serene. Karma Serene, what's going on, sis? Shout out to Steve J. Shout out to Rocket Andretti. Shout out to my main man Philly Fly. Shout out to Kevin Mosby. We're gonna let we're gonna let Facebook keep saying Facebook. I don't even be on Facebook. I don't know why I keep saying Facebook. We're gonna let YouTube do what they do. They're gonna send everybody the notifications, and everybody pretty much gonna be rolling in here deep. Shout out to Southside Boxing. Shout out to Southside Boxing. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to JC in the building. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Carm, I've got something I want to tell you. I got something I want to tell you, Karma. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it on here, but one day you guys could I would like to have Lisa, I would like to have Karma, if y'all can, just come on the panel one day. You know what I mean? I know you guys probably working and stuff, but just come on a panel one day. You don't have to show your faces, but just come on a panel one day, because I think just come on a panel one day if you can. You know, that'd be real nice. I would love to have you guys on there. Oh, okay. I'll do that. Let me see. Let me see this. We're gonna get started right into this. Let me see what the hell is going on. Oh, what the hell? Scientific. Why is all this noise? I'm gonna look for it right now. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I know you. I don't think I know the IG. I don't think I know it. Let me see. I don't think I know it, sis. I don't think I know it, sis. So just let me know. All right, okay, all right, sis. Yeah, just send me a message. Send me a message, please, on my IG if you have it. Other than that, yeah, man, what's going on, man? So shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey, man, I want to get right into this, man. First of all, where my brother Charlo at, man? Charlo, where you at, man? Charlo, where you at? Oh yeah, shout out to my brother Shelton Moore, Shelton in the building. Shout out to Jess. Jess 34753. Shout out to Anna Lee. Anna Lee, what's going on? What's going on, sis? What's going on with Anna Lee? Anna Lee, sorry about that. Where my main man at? I don't see him. Anyways, shout out to Richard Bailey. What's going on? So let's get right into it, guys. You know, I know it's been about 5 minutes and it seemed like I've been rambling. So let me get right into it. So other than that, I want to talk about this. Basically, is Manny Pacquiao biting off more than he can chew? And I'm gonna tell you guys what I mean by this. Now, I mean, I'm a big Manny Pacquiao fan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not like the Pac-tards. You know how Manny Pacquiao fans get real crazy. Not the fans, but the fanboys, they get real crazy. You know what I mean? But I'm not on that level. Shout out to NL. I'm not on that level. But I've seen this movie before. I've read this book before. I'm gonna break it down to you guys. Some of you guys, I don't know how long you've been watching the sport of boxing, but there comes a time in an old fighter's life to where he has won too many fights. Especially, let me see something. Let me see something. Especially when you're fighting a young guy who's 11 years younger than you. Who's 11 years younger than you, right? And this young guy sees this as an opportunity to beat up and retire an old man and to raise his profile and status in the welterweight division. If Errol Spence can beat Manny Pacquiao, he will be able to say, hey, I did something that Keith Thurman didn't do, and I did something that Adrian Broner didn't do. I beat Manny Pacquiao. So people who are fans of Errol Spence, they're going to say he's the best fighter in the history of boxing. He beat a 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao, yada, 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 yada. Everybody needs to bow down, kiss Errol Spence's feet, and it is what it is. He's the greatest welterweight in the history of boxing. We know what the narrative is going to be. We already know what the narrative is going to be, right? So, but I say all that to say this. Errol Spence hasn't had a fight in a while. I think the last time he fought Danny Garcia. That was the last time he fought. When was that? When was that fight? Let me look and see when that fight happened. Spence, Danny Garcia. Spence and Danny Garcia, that fight happened October 2019. So Spence hasn't had a fight since October 2019. Manny Pacquiao hasn't had a fight since, I think, June or July of 2019. So kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense why Errol Spence, why Manny Pacquiao will pick Errol Spence. Because we know that, I'm looking at it right now, Carm. It was October 2019. No, sorry about that, sis. I was wrong. I'm sorry about that, Carm. I was wrong. I'm looking at it wrong. The car accident happened October 2019. Errol Spence last had a fight December. You're right, Karma. Sorry about that. I was wrong. December 5th, 2020, he fought Danny Garcia. I was wrong about that, guys. I apologize. So Pacquiao hasn't had a fight since 2019, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 2019 was the last time he had a fight. Last time Manny Pacquiao fought. Last time Manny Pacquiao fought was 2019 against Keith Thurman, right? And I'm gonna see. I think that was the summertime, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna look right here and see right quick. This man had 1 million fights, bro. Manny Pacquiao had 1 million damn fights. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao, the last time he fought was July 2019. That's the last time he fought. Last time he fought was July 2019. That was the last time Manny Pacquiao fought. So by the time him and Errol Spence fight, he's going to be out of the ring for 2 years, right? He's going to be out of the ring for 2 years. So this is what's going to happen. If Errol Spence wins, the narrative is going to be he's the greatest fighter of all time. He beat Manny Pacquiao. They're going to run down Manny Pacquiao's legacy, which is they're going to use that narrative to try to boost Errol Spence's legacy. I get it. Trust me, I understand. I get all of that, right? Shout out to OG. Shout out to G Martinez. Shout out to Tell him what's going on. What do you say? 11 likes, 11 dislikes. Oh man, I don't worry about that. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. You know, they can like, share, or dislike. It doesn't matter. What they don't understand when they dislike the video, it helps me anyway. You know what I mean? But that's cool. I mean, that's cool. You know what I mean? But I say all that to say this. If Errol Spence beats Manny Pacquiao, then the narrative will be that Errol Spence is the greatest boxer in the history of boxing. They'll say that there's no fight in the history of the welterweight division that would have been able to beat Errol Spence. We know what the narrative is going to be, right? But it's cool. It's cool, though. It's cool. Now, I say all that to say this. I've seen this movie before, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by that, guys. I'm going to show you guys something. Show you guys a list of some fighters. This is just some of them. I was doing some research. Now, I didn't have to do deep dive research. Shout out to Retro Boxing. Shout out to my brother Retro Boxing. As a matter of fact, we're going to ring the Ali bell. We're going to ring the Ali bell for everybody in the chat. Hit the Ali bell for everybody in the chat. Shout out to Retro Boxing. Let me bring this computer back some. The hell is going on with What's going on with my? Oh, it's still trying. Okay. Shout out to my brother Retro Boxing. Shout out to Boxing Clever. Now, I say all that to say this. Jeff Lucietta. Shout out to Jeff Lucietta. I say all that to say this. Let me go ahead and I'll drop the link for anybody want to come in too. I say all that to say this, fam. We seen what happened with Sugar Ray Leonard in the past. I don't know how far back some of you guys go. Some of the older guys know where I'm going at with this. Some of the older guys know exactly where I'm going at with this. I was looking at people like Willie Pep. I was looking up people like Julio Cesar Chavez. I was looking up people like Barney Ross. You know what I mean? Barney Ross, absolutely. You know, I was looking at some old fighters like Joe Gaines. I was looking at some fighters like Archie Moore. You know, my main man, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. He boxed past his prime, but you know, Manny Pacquiao was in that same category. Sam Langford. Who else? Sam Langford. Let's see, who else we got? Sugar Ray Leonard. I always talk about Sugar Ray because I remember how Terry Norris did him. You know what I mean? And Joe Louis. Hell, even my favorite fighters, you guys know Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson fought for 25 years, from 1940 to 1965. You see what I'm saying? So I saw this. I seen this movie before. The old guy jumps in the ring with the new guy, the younger guy, stronger guy, bigger guy, and he wants to show the world for whatever his motivation is. He wants to show everybody that he still got it. And then when he steps in the ring, he get the brakes beat off of him. And then he realizes that night that, man, he shouldn't have stepped in the damn ring anymore. We saw it happen to Ali. Ali was past his prime. Ali, after he beat George Foreman, he never should have fought again after that. It was a steady downhill climb from there. You see what I'm saying? You said there was a steady downhill climb from there. You see what I'm saying? For Ali. He never should have fought again after Foreman. But the reason why Ali had to fight is because he lost so much money dealing with the Nation of Islam. You know, you guys know I've been in the Nation of Islam for 24 years. And so I know how the nation rolls. You're going to get racehorse without your money. You got to send your money to their headquarters, which is Chicago, and to Farrakhan. Prior to that, it was Elijah Muhammad. He dead and gone right now. 1975, he died. So Ali paid a lot of money in the Nation of Islam. This is why I say you stay away from race hustlers. Because the race hustlers are going to keep your ass emotional, angry, and broke. So Ali fought because he loved fighting. Tell him, say Ali fought because he loved fighting, and boxers look back at him, now retire early. Nah, it wasn't that simple. Tell him he didn't fight for that long because he loved boxing. You know, he fought because he was broke. He had to fight. It wasn't that simple. Ali, a lot of those fighters, they, you know, back then it was a little different. A lot of those fighters, they had bad managers. They had people robbing them, ripping them off. You know, they didn't handle their money right. Then, you know, when you give money based on your emotions, and you tied to, I gotta help my people, and you're the only guy that's giving all of your money. You see what I'm saying? This is what happens. But now I'm gonna stick to the script as it relates to Manny Pacquiao. Now, if you're a diehard Manny Pacquiao fan, you're going to say that, hey, Manny Pacquiao is not old. He's going to beat and defeat Errol Spence. We don't know what's going to happen. No, bro. Fight Manny. It's too old. He needs to fight Crawford. I guess you're talking about Spence. Yeah, so I seen this movie before. You know, when Ali was finna fight Larry Holmes, which was his sparring partner, they hyped it up. Yeah, man, Ali gonna do a number on Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes beat Ali for 11 rounds, punished him. And the only thing I regretted, I hated Larry Holmes. I hated Larry Holmes for beating Muhammad Ali the way he did. But at the same time, I hated Angelo Dundee in his corner and Boudini Brown and all of them. Listen, how y'all let the man go out there like that? Throw the towel in. They could have threw that towel in 3-4 3-4 rounds ago. I mean, at the third or fourth round. They let the man get punished for 11 rounds, right? I saw what Terry Norris did to Sugar Ray Leonard. After Sugar Ray Leonard knocked Terry Norris down in 1991, Terry Norris ended up dropping Sugar Ray Leonard 2 more times after that. Messed his eye up. Sugar Ray only won like 36 fights. I seen this movie before. You know what I mean? I saw this movie before. Shout out to Shelton Moore in the building. Shelton in the building. Right Ali Bell for Shelton.
Salute to you and the whole chat, Coach. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good, bro. Doing good. I was looking at some old fighters, man, like Willie Pep and stuff like that. Just some of the fighters, man, who fought. Like like dudes telling me, I'm not trying to get off topic, but I'm getting on top of it a little bit. And they're going to tell me about how great Floyd Mayweather is and stuff like that. He 50-0. Man, listen, man, you guys clearly just started watching boxing about 5 years ago. And then you tell me, well, I do a Google search and Google say this and that. Listen, I'm going to teach you guys how to do research because I know how to do proper research, right? When you do research, you have to go deeper than a Google search. You just can't look up Google and then type what you want to see. And then once you find what you want to see to fit your narrative and say, hey, here you go. This is what Google says. Nah, you got to go a little bit deeper than that. When you do research, you have to deep dive into research. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna show a lot of you guys how to do research on any topic, whether it's boxing, whether it's politics. I'm gonna show you how to do research properly.
Hey, Coach, tell them to Google this. This is something they can Google. Carlos Monzon lost 3 of his first 10 fights, right?
Right.
And then he won 79 after that.
Yep. Hell, I mean, listen, doggone, I was doing some research this morning. Willie Pep won his first 63 fights. So you want to talk about
50-0.
50-0.
50-0.
Okay, if this guy could have retired at 63-0. Julio Cesar Chavez was 88-0. Something like that. Before he even had a draw. You know, there's a bunch of fighters on here. We don't even talk about Sugar Ray Robinson. We talk about him and Armstrong. Bro, I can go on and on and on. Joe Louis defended his belt 25 times. The Brown Bomber. That's the name who Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, stole his name from.
But if you only been watching boxing for 2 weeks, you don't know that.
You don't know that. This man got 25 title defenses. Joe Louis. 25 title defenses. Sugar Ray Robinson. Let me find this fighter, man. Hey, Shell, you probably don't even remember this. Well, you might remember it. Henry Armstrong, Sugar Ray Robinson. Let's look at Sugar Ray Robinson. I'm finna rush Sugar Ray Robinson on here right quick. Sugar Ray Robinson had a fight with a dude back in the day. I forgot the brother's name. It was a damn good fight, though. And it was a controversial win for Sugar Ray Robinson.
Right.
Some people said they thought he lost. Right. Guess what Sugar Ray said? Okay, let's run it back. So, guess when they rematched, guys? They rematched 3 weeks later.
Will Floyd do that?
Sugar Ray gave him the business.
Would Floyd do that?
That man, ain't nobody doing that. You know, that's a different era. So this is why I say you can't compare these eras. You can't say, well, this fighter did this in this era, he would have whooped. You can't say that. Those fighters back then was cut from a different cloth. They was cut from a different cloth. They wasn't making the money that the fighters making today. There was no Google, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. The mafia played a big part in boxing at that time. Probably still do today. I don't know. Maybe it's been more corporate ties. And they didn't wait 6, 7, 8, 9 months to fight somebody. They fought on the regular. In a 6 month span, of what those fighters might have had 6 fights in 6 months span. They might have had 6 fights.
You looking at Robinson, you talk about 10, 12 fights in 6 months, maybe 13.
I'm just saying, like, you can't even compare the eras. So now, Manny Pacquiao is amongst the greats. Literally, he can arguably be in the top 5. If someone say they got Manny Pacquiao in the top 5, I can't even argue it. Literally, I can't argue it. I couldn't argue it. But I'm a type of guy. I have so much respect for the older fighters, and I know what their plight and what they went through, regardless of what their race and nationality is, you know what I mean, or ethnicity is. It doesn't matter to me. I understand that this is a different era right now. It's a different era right now. So I can't compare the two. You know what I mean? Jeff Luciano say Florida's a boxing genius, in my opinion.
Yes,
Florida's one of the greats. He's one of the greats. I can't take nothing from Floyd. He's one of the greats. Can't take nothing from Floyd Mayweather. He's a bad boy. But I'm saying you can't compare the eras. That's all I'm saying. You can't compare the eras.
Coach. Here's the thing they miss. We talk about 15-round fights. We talking about 6-ounce gloves, and we talking about fighting more than 3 times a year. We talking about fighting maybe 10, 12 times a year. That's the difference.
That's the difference. So that's why, you can't, there was no A side, B side, wrong side of the street. We don't care what side of the street you on. We just had a fight today. We're going to have a rematch 3 weeks from now. You can't listen. So when you go to telling me about Floyd Mayweather, and I know you guys just started watching boxing when you got caught on the Floyd Mayweather 5-6 years ago. I get it. Listen, Floyd Mayweather don't even impress me. I respect Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is one of the greats. Can't take that from him. He's one of the greats of this era. I repeat, he's one of the greats of this era. But when I look at the sport of boxing, and I do my thorough research, and I look at who these fighters were, how many times they fought, how many rounds they fought, what size ounce gloves they had. You see what I'm saying? Under the circumstances which they had to fight,
a lot of you guys probably don't realize that all that shit that Ali and Frazier and all them those guys did was with 8-ounce gloves. So those was 8-ounce gloves for heavyweights.
So that's all I'm saying. But anyways, I'm gonna stick to the topic at hand. Manny Pacquiao, is he biting off more than he can chew? There's a possibility. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Who I want to see win the fight, I would love to see Manny Pacquiao win that fight. Because Manny Pacquiao is a legend. He reminds me of one of those throwback fighters. As you know me, I am biased and I love throwback fighters when it comes to that. I love the throwback fighters and the fighters who I almost cursed because I got kids in there. The fighters who you defecate on today, yesterday, open up the doors for the fighters who you love today. And because some of you, not all of you, but some of you just started watching boxing 5 years ago, and some of you probably gonna be, you know what I mean, watching what the kid named who Floyd finna fight next. Y'all gonna say, oh man, he gonna be 51-0 when he win that, and yada 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 yada. It's comical, but I know just based off of what you say, I automatically know how long you've been watching boxing. I say this dude don't know no better. He don't know nothing. He don't even know how to do research. Research to some of you, not all of you. Some of you is I'm gonna do a simple Google search. Type in what I want to find, and it's gonna go to it. Aha! This is what Google says. You don't know how to do deep dive research because you wasn't taught that in school. They didn't teach you how to do deep dive research in school. They didn't teach you how to go to the primary source of information. They didn't teach you how to go to the secondary source of information. They didn't teach you how to just really go deep into it. On this channel, I'm gonna teach you how to do research. And once I show you how to do research, you will be able to defeat anybody in a debate. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you something off the top of the head, Coach. It's 2 lightweights that probably would have beat Floyd Mayweather that you never hear anybody mention. Edwin Rosario and Lupe Pintor.
Yeah, Lupe. I got Lupe up here. I think I got Lupe. Let me see. Do I have him up here? No, I don't have him up here. I thought I had him up here. No, I don't have him up here. I thought I had him up here. Yeah, but anyways, so when Roger Mayweather say, R.I.P. to the great Roger Mayweather, ring the Ali bell for Roger Mayweather. When Roger Mayweather say, you don't know ish about the sport of boxing, he ain't lying. He ain't lying. And he's not lying. Because you know about what you see today, and what you see today shapes your perception of what you believe the sport of boxing is all about. That's the fatal flaw right there. That's the flaw in your logic right there.
And Ali, the real body snatcher was Mike McCallum.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's the fatal flaw right there. There's an old proverb that my grandfather, R.I.P. to Kareem, from Harlem, New York. Well, he's from the DR, but when he came to this country, he came to Harlem, New York. He said that those who knows not, one who knows not and knows no, and one who knows not and knows not that he knows not is a fool. Shun him or stay the hell away from him. I'm gonna break that down for you. A person, basically what he's saying is this here. A person who doesn't know, and he doesn't know that he doesn't know, and will argue you up and down, and will argue the person up and down who knows that he knows not is a fool. Because they use circular logic with their arguments. You see what I'm saying? So that's it. That's all I have to say. That's really all I have to say on that. But now, let me get back to Manny Pacquiao. Hey, shout out to my main man, Charlo. Shout out to Charlo, man. Today is Charlo's birthday. Charlo, I ain't forgot about you, baby boy. Where Charlo at? Hey, Charlo, what's up, man? We're going to ring the Ali bell for my brother Charlo. Give him a round of applause. And we're going to ring the Ali bell for my brother Charlo, man. Today, Charlo birthday, man. Today, Charlo birthday, man. I'm not going to say how old you are.
Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday. You
tell the chat how old you are if you want to do that. I know how old he is, guys. He told me, but shout out to my main man Charlo, man. Today his birthday, man. So we gonna rock it like that, man. We're gonna rock it like that for Charlo right now, man. Anyways, man. Yeah, but I say all that to say this. Right? I say all that to say this. If you don't, I dropped the link in the description. Anybody want to come on? Hey, Carm, don't forget to hit me up on IG if you have it. You hit me up on IG because I want to. I don't want to say it online, but just hit me up on IG whenever you get time. Anyway, check this out. So, what I was gonna say? Yeah. So basically, as it relate to Manny Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao is a 5-1 underdog against Errol Spence. So that means that Las Vegas is saying that, you know what, man, we don't really believe in him like that. Because they say we don't really believe because Las Vegas has seen this movie before. Now, me being a Manny Pacquiao fan, I want to see Manny Pacquiao win. I'm not gonna lie to you, because he's a legend. And him being in his 40s and me being in my 40s, I got to root for the old man. So from one old man to another old man, I'm pulling for the old man.
Plus this side, coach, this side right here. I just want to see the narrative if he pulls it off. What they gonna say then?
Hey, yeah, man. Listen.
Hello, coach. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Chris? Hey, man, shout out to my main man, Chris. I think you're kind of new to the channel, so I'm going to ring the Ali bell for Chris Matthews. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead and talk. What's on your mind?
Matthews.
Oh, Matthews? Okay.
I said this. I said this. As soon as Manny Pacquiao announced this fight, I said he picked Errol Spence. Hear me out here. Errol Spence hasn't been the same since that car accident. That's number one. And number two, I don't think Errol Spence has dedicated himself to his craft after the Kell Brook fight. That's just me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, the reason why I said he hasn't dedicated himself to Errol Spence fight, you can look back at the press conferences when he's stammering his words, him being inebriated, him hanging around the wrong people. And I just think Errol Spence that came out of the 2012 Olympics is gone. And people are very perceptive and very smart because you got to understand, this is a very small community, this boxing shit is. So sorry about the language because I don't want to, demonetize you. But I was saying this. Boxing's very small and people talk. So people going to know who's on ball and who's not on ball. So, like for example, if he would have took on Terence Crawford, I would say, yeah, that's a good win if he beats Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford is out here doing his work, doing his job, and is on his craft. You can say whatever you want about Terence Crawford. You can say he gets hit a little too much for your liking, but he finds a way to win, whether it be orthodox or southpaw. And he has an underrated resume. A lot of people want to act like, oh, Terence Crawford hasn't done much at 47. But mind you, he beat a guy that beat Manny Pacquiao. So with that being said, I see Manny Pacquiao beating Errol Spence. If this was the Errol Spence that fought Mikey, there's no chance in hell that Manny Pacquiao beats him. Here's why. That Errol Spence there, people may say it was flat. Not to me. Errol Spence looked real sharp and beat up on Mikey round after round after round. I would have liked him to get the stoppage, but hey, who knows? He probably couldn't make 47, and it is what it is, because he chooses to still campaign at this weight. But after the car accident, it just doesn't look good for him.
Some people hold on. I'm gonna address that. Shout out to my brother Sly Tennessees, man, for the super chat. We're gonna ring the Ali bell for my brother Sly Tennessees. Shout out to Coach and the rest of the new media fam. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm a piggyback on that. Now, some people would say, Chris. Some people would say, brother, that Errol Spence looked really good when he fought Danny Garcia. Now, me being
no, he didn't.
You know, I'm going to tell you, me being a fan of the sport of boxing, me studying certain things, I know what I see when I'm looking at it. I see when Errol Spence beat Danny Garcia, I saw a flat-footed Puerto Rican fighter from Philadelphia. Then Danny Garcia, you know, they say, you know, this is Danny Garcia. He beat Danny Garcia. Who the hell is Danny Garcia? Danny Garcia hasn't beat anybody in the welterweight division. He's lost to Errol Spence last. He's lost to Sean Porter, and he's lost to Keith Thurman. All of his step-up fights in the welterweight division, he's lost. So when they try to throw out he beat Danny Garcia, I'm like, bro, he ain't beat nobody. Danny Garcia was tailor-made for a person coming off a car accident. Now, as it relates to piggyback on what you're saying, as it relates to Mikey Garcia is a blown-up lightweight who came up to welterweight. His first fight that he ever had at welterweight, he fought Errol Spence. He's 5'6" tall. Errol Spence is 5'9.5", and he beat the little man like he was supposed to beat him. And what tripped me out about that fight, Chris, you had some of these professional fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard, these legends, and Mike Tyson saying that, oh man, Mikey Garcia is gonna beat Errol Spence. Man, listen, man, Errol Spence beat that dude for 12 rounds. So now I will say this, Chris. Manny Pacquiao is not Mikey Garcia. Manny Pacquiao is not flat-footed. Manny Pacquiao has excellent footwork. He has excellent, I'm not even talking about hand speed. He has excellent foot speed. He has a high boxing ring IQ. I can't say that because he can't really cut off the ring like that. For a guy that, I know what you're talking about. I've seen Manny Pacquiao. He's very fleet of foot. But there's plenty of times I've seen him not cut off the ring. And sorry to cut you off. My thing is with Pacquiao, I didn't like the catch weight stuff. What he did with Miguel Cotto, the catch weight stuff. I didn't like a lot of the stuff. And I didn't like him not taking drug tests. And if you can have tattoos, why would you not take a drug test? And one last thing, a lot of people fail to realize Manny Pacquiao ducked people himself. You remember, I give you a fight, Zahir Rahim versus Eric Morales. Zahir Rahim beat up on Eric Morales like it was nothing. And Manny Pacquiao was supposed to fight Eric Morales, but Zahir Rahim beat him. Manny Pacquiao didn't fight Zahir Rahim at all. I like, as much as I like Manny Pacquiao, there's a lot of stuff in his career that I don't really see as, you know, great, because a lot of his prime was 130 to 135. And a lot of the time at 130, he was defending a belt that wasn't even a championship belt. You can't even look back at it. If you really look back at his career, he was fighting a lot of Mexicans for non-title fights because people liked him. I'm just not trying to blow smoke up people's eyes. It's just like, it's the truth. Right. Yeah, listen, I understand your opinion. Your opinion of Manny Pacquiao, whether you've been impressed with his record or not. I mean, that's your opinion. I have no arguments with that at all. As it relates to Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence. Now, one thing we do know about Manny Pacquiao can be timed.
Yes, he did.
Marquez did it. Marquez timed it perfectly.
Can I tell you something? A funny story. I was at my boxing gym. This is 2012. That fight happened. I just said something jokingly to my friend Ronnie Lazo from Freeport. And I just said, yo, Marquez going to slump his shit in the 6. He's going to time it with an overhand right and sleep his shit. And I was just saying it jokingly. All of a sudden, right hand on the button, put him to sleep. I said, like, yo, I didn't even know that was going to happen, bro. I swear to you, I didn't even know that was going to happen at all. Because Manny, we know he's wild, but we've seen Manny get hit with bombs before. Real bombs. And he never got knocked out like that at all.
Right, he just ran into it. He became predictable. Well, see this is what happens though. When you fight a guy for 4 times, he knows what you're going to do. So you got to take that into consideration. You got to take that into consideration as well. They fought 4 times. So Manny Pacquiao is a legend. You know what I mean? He's a legend. I don't agree with you saying that he ducked fighters and this and that. I don't agree with that. We just agree to disagree on that. But I do understand where you're coming from. And I respect your opinion. Is there anything else you want to talk about, brother?
You said Coach Shelton Williams said Edwin Rosario and Lupe Pintor would beat Floyd Mayweather at 35. I disagree with that because if you look at Edwin Rosario was very square. Sure, he punched hard and he could really take people out with one shot. But the thing is, if you watch Floyd at 130, he fought people that come straight in. Look at the Jesus Chavez fight. If he didn't fight Jesus Chavez, he would not be able to deal with Marcos Maidana. He wouldn't be able to deal with certain precious fighters. Like people try to underrate Floyd at 130, like in 35. Like this is when Floyd was fighting the best of the best, and he was giving people everything they wanted. I don't think he would have beaten Floyd at 30 or 35. And
but like he said, brother, that's your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm just offering a different opinion because you can't compare Jesus Chavez to Edwin Rosario. That's what you can't.
I know that is true, but I'm just saying in terms of styles, like for example, like what does Edwin Rosario do that Jesus Chavez doesn't do? Like I want to know because I haven't seen him cut off angles against a shoulder roll. I haven't seen him fight anyone with that type style because there was Roger Mayweather out there, and I never seen him fight him. And I'm not comparing, you know, Julio Cesar.
When Roger, well, here's the thing, bro. When Roger was coming up, hey, Edwin Rosario was on the way out, so they could have never fought. Number one,
that is true.
Number two, Edwin Rosario's final record was 39-2 with 37 knockouts.
Yeah, he could punch. I know that.
Floyd has never been in the ring with anybody with that kind of power. Plus, we talking 6-ounce gloves and we talking 15-round fights. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Floyd has never been in a 15-round fight, has he?
Yeah, and can I cut you off here? This is why I always look at people and say Floyd is the greatest, and I scoff at them. Because how are you going to be the greatest if you never fought 15 rounds? And he tries to denigrate people like, oh, I never lost. That's great that you never fought Joe Frazier. You didn't fight Ernie Shavers when you didn't have to. I'm just talking about Ali because a lot of people compare Ali's resume to Floyd's resume, which is you can't compare that. One resume speaks for itself. Other resume has holes. But what you're saying about Edwin Rosario, you're very, very much so is true. But we've seen a smaller guy in Chavez go up to 35 and bully him around. And like people thought Edwin Rosario was going to just blast Chavez out there. And we saw what Chavez did to him. Chavez stepped to him, touched him to the body consistently, and broke him down and swelled his eye up.
And you're right. But the thing is, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was a special fighter. I don't think Floyd Mayweather beats Julio Cesar Chavez. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we just gonna agree to disagree. Everybody make their points. We're gonna agree that hey man, I stand firm on what I believe. You stand firm on what you believe, And that's that.
Coach Malachi, it's not that I don't agree or disagree. He's making some great points because he did bring up something to me. Like, this guy's went up 2 weight classes, and his last title fight, people didn't think he was going to win. He took that guy on 2 rounds or something like that, right, Coach Shelton? Yeah, so like when you're talking about Rosario, he's a big puncher, but just my thing is, I just seen like whenever somebody's squared on with Floyd really doesn't really have too much problems with him.
Right.
We're not
taking nothing from Floyd. Floyd is great.
The best of this era, the best in the last 20 years. We're not taking nothing from Floyd.
Yeah,
we just saying Floyd, if he had fought stiffer competition like there was in the 70s and 80s, his record would look a little different. That's all I'm saying.
That's true, but like for example, Floyd versus Rocky Lockridge, I don't think Floyd beats Rocky Lockridge at all.
All right. Okay.
I think Rocky Lockridge would have done Floyd just like he did Roger.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool.
With that being said, guys, thank you so much for allowing me to take up some of your time. Thank you guys for giving me the education, and I hope to be back on your panel soon.
All right, thank you so much, Chris, man. Shout out.
And thank you for being objective too, please, because dog, I've been on YouTube for a long time, and listening to a lot of these guys, man, it's sad because the alphabet community, you know what I'm talking about, didn't used to always be like this. I understand why they act the way they do, but they turned into the people that they claim they hate. But It is what it is. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. Hey, man, shout out to my brother Chris Matthews for joining us.
Thank you, sir. That's all we do. Talking boxing.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, man. Shout out to my brother Chris Matthews, man. And shout out to my main man, Charlo, man, birthday, man. Charlo, shout out to you, man, for the birthday. You see what I'm saying? So, anyways, yeah, man. So, yeah, we can agree to disagree, on certain topics and stuff like that. And everybody can make a valid point. There's an argument for any fighter. There's an argument for Ray Robinson, which you guys know that's my favorite boxer of all time. There's an argument for Ali. There's an argument for Sugar Ray Leonard. There's an argument for Hagler, Roy Jones. There's an argument for Bernard Hopkins. Definitely an argument for Bernard Hopkins because he got better as he got older. So my thing is this here. I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao to beat Errol Spence. I'm just be honest with you guys. I'm rooting for the old guy. Just letting you know. Now, the reason why I asked the question is Manny Pacquiao biting off more than he can chew? Not because I believe he's biting Manny Pacquiao more that he's biting off more than he can chew, but I'm just saying there are some out there that believe that. You see what I'm saying? Now, we won't know if Manny Pacquiao has bitten off more than he can chew until the fight starts. You would know when the fight starts how he performs. That'll tell you everything you need to know. That'll be like, man, you know what, man? Because I can make an argument both ways. I can say no, he's not biting off more than he can chew. He can beat Errol Spence, but I can make another argument and say, you know what, man, I watched his last fight when he fought Keith Thurman 2 years ago, and Keith Thurman pretty much damn near almost won that fight. Manny Pacquiao was getting caught with right hands, especially the second half of the fight, from the 6th round all the way up to the 12th round. The right hand was dead in his face. He was getting hit with it, and it surprised me that he was eating those punches like that. And because of his veteran craftsmanship, by him being able to move and get out of the way and stuff like that, that's how he was able to go those 12 rounds. But if you go back and look at that fight, in the second half of the fight, man, he was getting hit with those right. Man, Keith Thurman was cracking them with them right hands. And I can only think, I'm like, man, if that was Crawford in there or somebody, he'll be done. Now, the good thing is this: he's fighting Errol Spence. Errol Spence is not a one punch knockout person. Errol Spence is the type of guy he likes to beat you up over a period of time. That's the kind of fighter he is. Now, I think the last fighter he stopped was Ocampo, whoever that is. I don't even know who that Ocampo is. Never heard of the guy, and I don't think nobody in the sport of boxing ever heard of the guy. But they found some dude from Mexico somewhere named Ocampo. He stopped that guy. But outside of that, he wasn't able to stop Porter. He wasn't able to stop Danny Garcia, even though he beat Danny Garcia for 12 rounds. And Danny Garcia got beat up for 12 rounds. He couldn't stop him. And he couldn't stop Mikey Garcia. So If that's the indication of what Errol Spence is bringing to the table, Manny Pacquiao can go 12 rounds with this guy because he's not dealing with a hard puncher. He's dealing with a volume puncher, a guy who has basic technique. He's going to work behind his jab. He's going to go to the body. You know what I mean? He's going to go to the body. And, he's going to just try to beat you up, kind of like how he did Danny and kind of like how he did Mikey. So,
well, I'm with you, Coach. I'm with you. I think I got Spence winning, right. But I won't be surprised or shocked if Manny wins. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you keep hearing these people bring up Danny Garcia. Well, shit. The top of the welterweight division takes turns whooping his ass.
Right. Yeah, Danny Garcia hasn't beat nobody in the welterweight division.
So that's not a good indicator. But what Pacquiao did against Thurman, you can't sit here and say he doesn't have a chance to do the same thing against Spence. Now, I don't have him doing it because of his age. And that's what's getting it for me because I'm 54. So I know how you feel at 43. You do not feel the same at 43 as you do at 33. Right. You just don't. Yeah. So I think Spence is going to win. I'm pretty sure of it. But I will not be shocked if Manny pulls it off.
Right, me neither. Listen, I'm hoping Manny pull it off. I'm telling you right now, I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao. I'm rooting for him. I'm not gonna bet any money on him because I just feel like this guy's 42 years old. He's stepping in the ring with a younger fighter who's 11 years younger than him. He's bigger than him. He's taller than him. And if he can time Manny, he probably, like Keith Thurman started timing him in the second half of the fight. He can catch him pretty good. But then Manny Pacquiao, by him having quick hands, quick footwork, we're going to see what Manny Pacquiao still has left the night of the fight. I can't really go by and even look at the past and say, well, this is what Manny Pacquiao did in the past. Because as you know, Father Time is undefeated. And I've seen this movie before. I saw it with Ray Robinson. I saw it with Sugar Ray Leonard. I saw it with Pernell Whitaker. Hell, I saw it with Willie Pep. Listen, I have a list of guys. We saw it with Ali. We saw it with Joe Louis. We saw Tommy Hearns, Sam Langford. You know what I mean? Hell, even Jack Johnson. So that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, man. I just but who am I rooting for? I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao. I'm telling you right now. I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? And then another thing, he hasn't boxed in 2 years. So what is he going to look like? What is he going to look like? He hasn't boxed in 2 years. Now, I expect Manny Pacquiao to go 12 rounds, though. He's fighting Errol Spence. Errol Spence ain't got no knockout power like that. I expect Manny Pacquiao to go 12 rounds with Errol Spence. And I expect Errol Spence to probably beat him up for 12 rounds like he did Mikey Garcia. But am I rooting for Manny Pacquiao? You goddamn right, I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao. And you know what? I don't know if those Vegas odds, if they up those odds a little bit more, I don't know. Like it's a little bit on it. You know me, man. I go with the money. And okay, all right. They bet me. They doing what? He 5-1. Okay, let's see. So $1 gonna bring me $5. $100 gonna bring me $500. Man, I don't know. I might have to take that bet. You know what I mean?
Anchor weight in the chat, Coach. Anchor weight. George Foreman hits like a Mack truck, and he had a dude that was tailor made for him. So you can't compare the two, bro.
Tell George Foreman
hits like a truck.
Yeah, you're right. Tell George Foreman Father Time is undefeated. You're right about that. George Foreman beat Michael Moore. He got beat up by Evander Holyfield. He got beat up by. Did he fight Tommy Morrison? I think Tommy Morrison beat him too.
Beat his ass.
Tommy Morrison beat him. You see what I'm saying? So you're right. Ask George Foreman is Father Time undefeated. No, you're right about that. If that's what he meant, you're right about that. Because George he caught Michael Moore slipping. Michael Moore just and prior to him knocking Michael Moore out, Michael Moore was beating the brace off George Foreman. It wasn't even close. So
Did you watch the fight, Anchor Weight? Did you watch the fight, or was you too young?
Right. I don't know how old he is. So it happens. It happens, bro. It happens. It really happens. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. But again, I'm not saying that Manny Pacquiao has bitten off more than he can chew. It's a question. Is Manny Pacquiao biting off more than he can chew? That's the question. You see what I'm saying? Now, we will find out when they pull the fight in August. We'll find out in August. Is he biting off more than he can chew? We'll find out then. You see what I'm saying? So that'll tell the story. Because we don't know. All we can do is Peter Barnard say Pacquiao is still hard. I guess you meant to say hated. Yeah, because this is what we do know. We know there are certain Peter Barnard say Spence won't beat Manny up for 12 rounds. No way, he might win the fight, but he won't beat Manny up for 12 rounds. Yeah, you know what, Peter Barnard, you're right, because Manny Pacquiao gonna win some rounds. But I'm hoping, and I'm telling you guys right now, I'm hoping that Manny Pacquiao can win. Because if he wins, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I want him to win. Because all of the narrative pro PBC conspiracy theorists, YouTube boxing channel pushers out there, I just want to see the look on their face. I want to see Manny Pacquiao win because I want to see the look on those alphabet boys' face. The race hustlers, the narrative conspiracy pushers, the we don't like no fighter that's not with the alphabet, that's not with PBC. We don't like UK fighters. We pro-black, but we don't like certain black fighters, i.e. Terrence Crawford, i.e. Anthony Joshua. That right there. That's the only reason why I want to see Manny Pacquiao win.
You know what somebody asked me yesterday, Coach? We was just talking boxing, right? And the brother said, damn, do you support any black fighters? I said, wow, man, just because I don't agree with you on this Tank Barrios fight, now I'm against all black fighters? Yeah.
That's
how you think, brother? Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's real crazy because these guys are not fans of the sport of boxing. They're fans of narratives, and boxing ain't got nothing to do with skin color. I've never seen a fighter win a fight because of his skin color. I've never seen a fighter lose a fight because of his skin color. Maybe those guys know something that me and you don't know, Shelton. So Southside boxing say fighters still have got it at that age. Because look at Hopkins. Listen, Southside, you hit the nail right on the head. I was fixing to go there. You beat me to it. You beat me to it now. I was fixing to go there. Bernard Hopkins. I can make an argument. What Annalie said, Annalie, what you say, sis? I can make an argument to say that. Now, you guys know. No, I don't think so. Manny's still a good fighter. I totally agree with that, Annalie. Listen, I can make an argument, and Sheldon, I'm going to tell you where I'm going at with this. Some people can say, you know what? Now, Roy Jones, you guys know I was a fanboy of Roy Jones. But I can make an argument, me being objective, that Bernard Hopkins, over a period of time, had a better resume and had a better career than Roy Jones Jr. Now, before y'all can say I don't went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. Bernard Hopkins, I'm finna pull him up right now. As he got older, he got better. He consistently was winning fights that people didn't think that he was going to win. The same guy who knocked out Roy Jones, which was Antonio Tarver, Bernard Hopkins beat him. Took his belt, right? Bernard Hopkins beat quite a few people that he was the underdog against early when he got old in his 40s. Bernard Hopkins,
i.e. Kelly Pavlik.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you. So as Roy Jones got older, he was getting beat up more and more and more. Roy Jones was getting knocked out. And it hurt me to say this because you guys know I was a fanboy of Roy Jones. Roy Jones was getting knocked out by people that wouldn't be able to touch him if he just looked at him in his prime. People picking him up off the mat. Man, I cried one day, man. I saw Roy Jones get knocked out in Russia. He was over there in Russia, man. He in the corner. They putting the water behind his neck. He telling his dad, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired." He talking about how tired he was. He went back out in the ring. The dude knocked him out. Put him, bro. I thought, and Roy wife was sitting Roy Jones' wife was sitting there on the side, crying. They showed an image of his wife crying because they thought he got killed in the ring. That's how devastating that knockout was. But Bernard Hopkins, when he was still winning. Bernard Hopkins was still winning championships and still beating these dudes as he got older. So I can arguably sit back and say, you know what? Yo, Roy was a bad boy in his prime, but as if you look at him and Bernard Hopkins as they got older in their career, Bernard Hopkins was better. And that's me being objective against a guy who I was overwhelmingly biased against. Biased for.
Well, you know, Coach, that I'm the biggest fanboy on the planet for Muhammad Ali. I think Muhammad Ali beats Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in the same night. That's me. I love Ali. But Ali and Roy Jones were similar in the fact that once their athleticism started to go away, they were both able to be touched.
Right.
The only difference between Ali and Roy Jones is Ali had the fundamentals to back up his athleticism.
Right.
And Roy Jones really didn't. Once that Roy Jones athleticism left, he was fooled. But Ali had toughness, a hell of a chin, and he could actually box. That's the only difference.
Hey, Bo, shout out to my brother Bo, man. My brother Bo sitting here chilling, man, shangalanging with us. Shangalanging. Bring the Ali bell for my brother Bo, man.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's going on, fella?
Yeah. I was about to make that same statement Shelton just made with the Roy Jones thing. I think, he didn't have the fundamentals and he was surviving off the pure athleticism and whatnot. So, as he aged, once that athleticism left, then he had nothing to fall back on.
Right. He did. You're right.
And compared to Bernard Hopkins, he always had that. So you knew that was going to carry him for years down the line.
Yeah, Slot Tennessee, absolutely, man. Listen, Roy Jones is a legend. You gotta understand. I'm a fanboy of Roy Jones. So yes, once he went up to heavyweight and beat Ruiz at heavyweight, he never should have cut weight. He came back down to fight Tarver. But I'm gonna tell you something. Tarver did was very smart. Tarver knew that Roy Jones had a big ego, and Tarver antagonized Roy Jones. He stalked Roy Jones, stalked him, and talked so much trash about Roy. And Roy ego, I'm gonna come back down and wait and fight Tarver, and he barely beat him. Some people say that Tarver might have pulled out the first fight, but Roy barely beat him. Then, when Roy saw that his skills had diminished that night, he should have just said, you know what? I don't have to rematch this guy anymore. I'm done. Right? But his ego wanted him to come back. And I will never forget what Tarver said. I never forget what Tarver said. He said, he looked Roy dead in his eyes. He said, what's your excuse going to be tonight, Roy? So he knew. Basically, when he knocked Roy Jones out, he timed him. And so when the guy said that, man, well, Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. Well, when you fight a guy 4 times, a guy figures you out, he times you. When you fight a guy 4 times, and then Tarver, after he fought Roy the first time, he figured it out. But this is what I want to say about Bernard Hopkins. After Bernard Hopkins beat De La Hoya, he lost to Taylor. At 41 years old, the same guy who knocked out Roy Jones was Antonio Tarver, which I don't like Tarver. I don't like him to this day. I ain't gonna lie to you. And Tarver from the same city I'm from. I don't like Tarver. I'm mad. Anybody who beat anybody I was a fanboy of, I'm still beefing with some of those fighters right now today. hey, Sheldon and Bo, at 47, I'm beefing right now with those fighters.
Oh, I'm still pissed off. I'm still pissed off at Larry Holmes and Joe Frazier.
Well, I will say this too, Coach. Tarver did blow up and wait for that Rocky movie, right?
Right.
After that, when he came back to the boxing and lost all that weight, he wasn't the same no more either.
Nah, he wasn't. Listen, at 41 years old, Bernard Hopkins beat who he beat? He beat Antonio Tarver. He beat Antonio Tarver by TKO. No, hold on. Was it by TKO? Let me see. Tarver was 3-1 favorite. Yeah, he beat him. He beat him. It wasn't by TKO. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't think Tarver ever been stopped.
Nah, he had been TKO. Matter of fact, it was I think it was a unanimous decision. And Antonio Tarver bet, if I remember correctly, I think Antonio Tarver had bet was it Hopkins? Yeah, he bet Hopkins $250,000 that he'll beat him. So not only did he lose the fight, he lost a $250,000 bet. And Bernard Hopkins beat him at 41 years old. Then after that, Bernard Hopkins fought Winky Wright. Ain't nobody want to fight Winky Wright. Winky Wright made everybody look bad. Winky Wright was a bad boy. And then he fought Calzaghe. You know, Calzaghe beat him. Then he fought Pavic. All this in his 40s. He beat Pavic. Then he fought Roy Jones. That was a terrible fight. Him and Roy Jones. That two old dudes. That was a terrible fight. You know, but he beat Roy in the second fight. Hopkins fought Pascal. You know what I mean? These are dudes. He beat him. You know what I mean? Let's see. Him and Dawson fought for the second time. Let me see. Hopkins about the majority decision. What happened in that fight? I'm trying to find out what happened in that fight. Did he beat him? They fought. Nah. You know what? Hopkins. This was the TKO fight. Hopkins said Hopkins got injured in this fight and he couldn't continue. They fought twice though. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at what Hopkins did older, later on in his career, just some of those signature fights, you can sit back and say, you know what, man, Hopkins might have Roy. You know what I mean? So I can't even argue with that when I look at this. Now, of course, he lost to Kovalev, and then he ended up losing to what's the dude named Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith knocked him out the ring. I'll never forget that because Bernard Hopkins say, "I never let a white boy beat me." After he got beat by a white boy already in Calzaghe. So
yeah, and he tried to lie. He tried to lie and say the boy pushed me. No, he pushed you with that left hook. That's what pushed you.
Going for Bernard Hopkins, man. You got beat by you said I never let a white boy beat me. Calzaghe beat you, Kovalev beat you, and then Joe Smith beat you. That dog over Bernard Hopkins, man, was hilarious, bro. Hey, listen, but I love B-Hop, man. I love B-Hop, but I'm just saying, like, but as it relates to Manny Pacquiao, man, Manny Pacquiao is he that special fighter, that one that can turn back the hands of time and pull this off? You know, I want to believe he can. I want to believe he can win this fight. I pretty much see Errol Spence keeping the jab out there, and he want to time Manny Pacquiao because this is what you do know. When you're fighting a shorter fighter, you know this shorter fighter is going to have to do what? He's going to have to come inside in order to get his shots off. So Errol Spence is going to do what? I'm going to time him when he comes in. I'm going to get his timing. If Errol Spence can get Manny Pacquiao's timing, it's going to be a long night for Manny Pacquiao. But if he can't get his timing,
or a short one,
right. But if he can't get his timing, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night for Errol Spence. You know this. So what is Manny Pacquiao? Because you can say, well, listen, Manny Pacquiao fought bigger fighters than that back in the day, and Margarito and stuff like that. Well, Manny Pacquiao is 42 years old now. So are we going to see that? Are we going to see that fighter? You see what I'm saying? Are we going to see that fighter that beat Margarito and Oscar De La Hoya and all those other guys and stuff like that? Are we going to see that fighter? You see what I'm saying? Now, again, I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao. I'm just telling it off the rip. I'm rooting for him. He's a legend. He's in the top 10 fighters, maybe top 15, or maybe even top 5, depending on because your top fighters is subjective to you. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's subjective to you. There's no wrong answer when you're picking your top guys.
Hey, Coach, how do you think Bo sees this fight? He ain't saying too much about it.
Bo, what you think, Bo?
Well, is it going to be a drug test or not?
Yeah, it's supposed to be vital.
Oh,
Vital testing.
To be honest, like Spence is actually tailor-made for Pacquiao. It's just that, Pacquiao just, he's up there in age. So it might not work for him in this fight. But if it does, I wouldn't be too surprised anyway, because Spence, fighting Pacquiao is almost like Margarito fighting Pacquiao. It just, they too slow for him. And, Spence, he's a pressure fighter. If he can keep that pressure on Pacquiao, I think everything will work out in his favor. But if Pacquiao moves around on him, Spence might be in trouble.
I didn't think about that. Spence is a pressure fighter. He's gonna come forward. You can use a person's aggression against them to put them in position. See, if a person is steadily coming forward, and you have Pacquiao fighting, as long as Pacquiao don't fight in a straight line, so he can get caught. I think the good thing is These are two southpaws fighting each other.
Well, Josh Taylor just did the same thing, didn't he, Coach?
Yeah.
Josh Taylor just did the same thing.
Right. He uses Ramirez's aggression against him. That's when he dropped him. That's when he dropped him with the counter pull, the counter pull. You know what I mean? He waited on him. He went in the corner, and then when he came forward and threw that, he slipped back and bop, caught him on the chin, and then he got it, and then he tried to get out of the way, but Taylor fell right in his lap. So Manny Pacquiao can hurt on Spence. If he hurt Keith Thurman, hurt him twice, dropped him. And when he dropped him, he hit him in the body. I watched that fight. I watched that fight the other night. Keith Thurman threw his punch. Manny Pacquiao slipped it. And then Manny Pacquiao kind of like rushed him. And when he rushed him, he was throwing punches. And he threw the right hand. He missed him though. He didn't hit him. But he caught Thurman going backwards. And then when he threw the right hand, it kind of distracted Thurman for like a split second. And then Pacquiao hit him in the stomach, the body shot. And when he hit him in the body shot hurt Keith Thurman. It hurt Keith Thurman. And then Pacquiao came back up with the right and he hit him with the left hook and he dropped him. But he was already going to fall from the body shot. So
he didn't fall from the body shot though.
No, he fell from the hook.
For like the second round, right?
Yeah, he fell from the hook. Yeah, he fell from the hook to the face. But what I'm saying I was saying how he set it up though. He had went downstairs, and I literally just watched it the other night. He hit him in the body while he was backing up. He went up top, didn't land, hit him in the body, landed, and then he came back up top, and that's what dropped him. But it was the body shot that that opened up, because when he hit him in the body, Keith Thurman couldn't block nothing in his face because he was, he brought his hands down and he got caught in the face. So, he got caught in the jaw. I forgot which punch it was, but it dropped him. You know what I mean? So, and then he hurt him again with a body shot in the 9th round. I think it was the 9th or 10th round. He hurt him with a body shot. And I thought Keith Thurman was going to go down.
See, to me, I think that when he hurt him with the body shot later in the fight, I thought that was the one that really hurt Keith Thurman, because when he dropped Keith Thurman early in the rounds, I thought that was more of a kind of like a flash knockdown, because Keith Thurman was going back and Pacquiao just kept coming. So you saw how quick Keith Thurman got up. It was almost like he didn't really feel that punch, as much, because he just hopped right back up and was trying to get back to it. But that body shot later on in the 9th round, that really hurt Keith Thurman right there.
Well, Keith said after the fight that Manny hit hard. He said, I didn't know that dude hit that hard.
Yeah, he did. He did
say hit hard.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that. Like, man, I mean, it is what it is. And then Manny Pacquiao got some big ass legs. Like, if you look at his legs, especially his calves, I'm like, man, that dude, he's bottom heavy. He's bottom heavy. You know what I mean? And when you're small the way he is, you have to use whatever strength that you have to your advantage. And he's really good at using his legs. Shout out to my brother Halim just coming in. I know he's been in for a minute, but shout out to Halim. Peter Eddie wanted to fight.
My man.
Shout out to Halim. Eddie Val. Shout out to Eddie Val as well. Eddie Val, what you say, fam? You say Manny definitely not the same Manny as in a Margarito fight. Even in 2019, was it the same? Of course, Pac versus Spence. I would definitely beat Spence now, 60-40. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Me honestly, I just look at, just follow time. I don't seen this movie a million times. For every time you can tell me Bernard Hopkins did this and that, A, B, C, and D, but that's B-Hop defied the odds. But he did lose. He did lose some fights in his 40s as well. So, so I get it. I understand that.
And that doesn't mean Manny can do it just because B-Hop did it.
Yeah, exactly. And just because B-Hop did it don't mean Manny can do it. You know what I mean? Because I just want to say, listen, man, I'm a firm believer, man, when an old fighter, because you never know when that day. Now, I will say this also, because we do know from what a lot of boxing circles say, different trainers. Like, I remember I was talking to John David Jackson one time in Walmart. John David Jackson lives right here in Miami. And I was talking to him in Walmart. I'm trying to get this brother on the show, man. I just haven't been able to get him on. But, we were just talking about boxing. We talked about 10, 15 minutes. And we got on the subject of Errol Spence. This was a couple years ago. And this was right when, what's the guy named that the former heavyweight boxer that trains over there with Floyd Mayweather. He the guy that hold the body suit with Floyd punching anybody.
Jones.
What's the name?
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, last name is Jones.
Yeah, I forgot his first name. Yeah, but
like, is it Mark Jones?
No, it's not. Mark.
No,
it's not.
Mark. Big
I forgot his name.
Nate Jones. Nate Jones.
Nate Jones.
Big
Nate Jones. Okay. Yeah, Big Nate. Yeah. Nate used to fight. You know, Don King was his promoter, but Nate was an alcoholic. Nate was an alcoholic. You know, he said that's what ruined his career. He couldn't stop drinking. And Nate was the first guy that said, this was like 4 or 5 years ago. This is like this is 3 years ago when Terrence Crawford had won undisputed against beating Ndongo, and then he moved up to welterweight. And that's when the talk was, man, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford said he wanted to fight not Sean Porter. He wanted to fight Keith Thurman. He said he wanted to fight Errol Spence, right? And that's when they met. And he was like, yeah, man, y'all saying I'm on the other side of the street. You want to go do this and that. But Nate said this. Nate said that they asked Nate. This was the first person I've ever heard say this in public. They say who you think who would win between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Nate Jones said Terrence Crawford. He said why? He said Errol Spence is alcoholic. He the first guy that ever said this. Before anybody ever seen Errol Spence out in public drinking, he say, man, he's an alcoholic. He drank, and he say that boy Terrence Crawford don't do no drinking. He don't do none of that. He gonna beat that dude. If they ever fight, he gonna beat him. He say in boxing circles, and I'm finna tell you why I'm going at with this. He said everybody in the boxing circle, in the boxing community know. He said the fans on the outside looking in, they don't know this. He said, but we know. I'm like, I thought Nate was tripping. I said, man, that dude was tripping. He said, no, hating on Errol Spence. He was right though. He was right. So I say all that to say this. Now Errol Spence thus far, he's been able to drink, party, drink as much liquor as he want to drink, and still go in the ring and beat Sean Porter, beat Danny Garcia, beat Mikey Garcia while being an alcoholic, right? While drinking, whatever. Whether you want to call him alcoholic or whatever, who knows? You see what I'm saying? But if he comes in the ring and he's not in tip top shape, he will give Manny Pacquiao, probably an advantage, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because Manny, from my understanding, Manny don't do anything. So we'll see. And a lot of times you guys say, well, y'all see Spence out in public and he's slurring his speech. He drinks. He's a drinker. Now I know his fans don't want it. His fans see it. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to talk about it because he's still been able to get away with it because he beat Sean Porter. Sean Porter's a sloppy fighter. He beat Sean Porter. He beat flat-footed Mikey Garcia. He beat flat-footed Danny Garcia. But one day he may get in the ring with the guy, and that day, that E&J, that Hennessy is gonna kick in, and we've seen it happen before. It's certain fighters. When you meet that guy, you're not gonna be able to drink like you was before when you fighting this guy. You see what I'm saying? So it's a possibility, but who knows what's going to happen, man? I don't know.
Let me ask Bo a question. Hey, Bo.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does the top of the welterweight division take turns whooping on Porter and Danny Garcia?
No, I 100% agree with you, man. That's how they build their resume. That's why I don't understand how Blue Blood said Danny Garcia and Sean Porter are Hall of Famers. I'm like, for what? They taking ass whippings. You know what I'm saying? They taking ass whippings from the top of the competition, but yet these dudes are Hall of Famers. And
I don't get that. I don't get that at all. That's why I'm saying, why is that the litmus test? Me and Coach was talking about this on another show, and I said, okay, let's take Errol Spence's last 7 fights. Let's just take his 7 fights, right? Look at that list, and if you're a betting man, tell me which one of them dudes you'll put money on to beat Terrence Crawford, and I'll wait for you.
I think the only person that had the best shot at beating Terrence Crawford on both of their resumes is probably Keith Thurman. Well, I guess Sean was the only one that fought Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman had, before, all the surgery and everything else. I mean, Keith Thurman could legitimately box. You know what I'm saying? And then the other guy I thought was Kell Brook, but Terrence Crawford already beat him. But the fact of the matter that he beat Kell Brook, everybody already said Kell Brook was damaged goods. But they never said he was damaged goods when he fought Errol Spence. That's
after
the
he
part
just took a molly whopping, after he had just took a molly whopping from Triple G.
And he moved down 2 weight classes. And this is all in the span of like 7 to 8 months and coming off of surgery.
Listen, Karma Serene says, y'all better lay off Showtime. That's her guy. Hey, Karma, I'm not talking about John. I like Porter. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. You know, I'm not crazy about his boxing style, but you know, we just stating that, you know, he loses his step-up fights. He just loses step-up fights.
Hey, Karma, let's just be honest. We know you love Sean, but be honest, Karma. They take turns whooping his ass.
Don't say that. Hey, no. Listen, Sean Porter did beat Danny Garcia. He did beat Danny Garcia. For whatever that's worth.
Everybody else beats Danny Garcia, so that's not nothing big. Everybody beats Danny Garcia.
Go ahead, Bo.
He beat Ugas, but everybody know Ugas really won that fight.
No, he ain't beat no Ugas. I know he beat Ugas from what the judges said. But man, listen, there's nothing you can tell me. There's nothing you can tell me that Danny Garcia did not get knocked down. Not Danny Garcia. Sean Porter did not get knocked down in the 10th round against Ugas. That was a knockdown. He dropped him. And the referee, and listen, if Terrence Crawford got dropped by Mean Machine, and everybody said that was a knockdown, how in the hell you gonna say that Sean Porter didn't get dropped by Ugas? I saw that fight yesterday. I looked at that fight yesterday, bro. And he dropped him. There was no tangling of the feet. There was none of that. It was a clean punch. Sean Porter was backing up. He went down, and the referee talking about some. That wasn't a knockdown. They robbed the man. In my opinion. You see what I'm saying? In my opinion. But it is what it is. It is.
Despite that, I don't know what the judges were saying, in that fight when they read the scorecard, or at least 2 of the judges, because it was a split decision, right?
Yeah, it was a split decision. Yeah. So I was like, man, I just don't, I just don't see it. Like I'm like,
and
man.
like we always say, fellas, I always trip off the narrative. Well, Crawford got hurt by Gamboa. Crawford got hurt by Benavidez. Crawford got dropped by Mean Machine. Yes, he did. But what happened to those guys? What happened?
Yeah, listen, when people say that, it kills me. It kills me when people say that because, okay, he got dropped by Mean Machine, but Mean Machine got stopped 3 rounds later. He stopped him. He got hurt by Benavidez. Okay, but he knocked Benavidez out in the 12th round. So these fight, this is boxing. I was looking at the Errol Spence fight, Kell Brook. Kell Brook hurt Errol Spence. Errol Spence went in retreat several times in that fight. You see what I'm saying? Sean Porter hurt Errol Spence. Fighters get hurt in fights. Fighters get knocked down in fights. What the hell does that mean?
Spence.
Huh?
Latte hurt Spence.
Who?
Latte, he fought this is like some bum, and the dude rocked Errol Spence, had him looking the other way when he punched him.
Oh yeah, I remember that fight. Yeah, I remember that fight. Yeah. But saying this is the circular logic that they use. They'll say, okay, this fighter got hurt and he got punched in the fight. So because he got punched in the fight or got hurt, that means that he won't be able to beat such and such. But then I'm like, dude, last time I checked, this is a boxing match. Fighters get hurt in boxing matches. Idiot. Fighters get dropped in boxing matches. What the hell does that mean? But if that fighter who got hurt and dropped turn around and win the fight and stop the guy who drops them, to me, that's impressive. So and then when I turn around and say, okay, well, your guy who you talking about got hurt against this guy and this guy. Oh, well, that was different. That's the circular logic method. Because now when it's talking about your guy, you'll turn around and flip it because you'll turn around and flip it to try to support your claim and say, oh, well, he really didn't get hurt, or that's different, or what. This is what they do. This is why you can't have a debate with a fanboy. I mean, it's literally futile. It's literally you wasting your breath. You better off just saving your breath for breathing. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But you know, they talk about a fighter got hurt. They talking about a fighter got dropped and all that stuff there. But then they don't say that. Well, he did end up knocking the dude out though. You know what I mean? Yeah, he knocked the dude out. Yeah, but you know, again, I get it. Terrence Crawford is probably one of the most hated fighters in boxing. None of the black fans like him. Well, I ain't gonna say none of the black fans. Let me stop generalizing. A proportion of the black fans who follow certain narratives don't like him. I get it. To them, he's terrible. He's the worst fighter ever. He's a bum. He's this. He's that. I get that. And their guy is the greatest guy that ever put on a pair of gloves. I get it. It sounds good, but I ain't got to agree with that shit. That's all I'm saying. I don't have to agree with it. You know what I mean? Because I understand that, you know, I understand their narrative. Their narrative is coming from a pro PBC fight narrative.
Well, it doesn't matter what this guy did against this guy or this guy did against that guy. Did you beat me? You ain't beat me. So I don't care about Crawford. I mean, I don't care about Porter or Garcia or Kell Brook or Triple G or anybody. Did you beat me? That's the question. Can you beat me?
Elvis, you hit the nail right on the head, fam. You say everybody can get hurt in boxing. Anybody who knows boxing knows this. Elvis, you know the problem is the guys who saying this, they don't know boxing. Just what you said, brother. You said anybody who knows boxing would know this. Well, try having a debate with a person who don't know boxing, but he don't know. It's like my grandfather say, one who knows not and knows not who knows not, he is a fool. Shun him or stay the hell away from him. You got to stay away from someone who don't know something, but he don't know it. And he will argue you up and down like he know what he's talking about. But you know, and everybody else know this dude don't know what the hell he's talking about. You wasting your time.
And the sad thing is, most of these dudes we argue with never had a fight in their life.
Hey, listen, Eddie Val say, I never been big on Danny. Even in Puerto Rico when he went, I heard people don't like Danny over there. Man, listen, Peter Barnard say Danny Garcia is overrated. Exactly. Danny Garcia is probably one of the most overrated welterweights in the welterweight division. Like literally.
And if he goes to 54, he gonna get retired.
Yeah, if he go to 54 and fight Jamel Charlo, he can kiss the baby goodbye. He can kiss the baby goodbye. He's slow. He doesn't have any footwork. He's flat-footed, and he has one punch, the left hook. And if he can't land that left hook, and guess what? Even if he land the left hook, he's caught people in the welterweight division with that left hook. He caught Keith Thurman with that left hook. Keith Thurman ate it. He caught Sean Porter with the left hook. Sean Porter ate it. And I don't think he caught Errol Spence at all with it. So, he got the left hook. Yeah, he got a left hook.
It's hard to catch somebody when you only throw 90 punches the whole fight.
Right. You throw 90 punches the whole fight. Because you waiting on that one shot. You won't let your hands go. You see what I'm saying? You won't let your hands go. So when they talk about future Hall of Famer, Danny Swift Garcia, I mean, according to whom? According to the alphabet, according to the LDBC, Danny Garcia is the future Hall of Famer. Man, why he a future Hall of Famer because Errol Spence beat him. So y'all trying to hype on Spence by saying that this guy he beat up is a future Hall of Famer. So we hype him. He beat future Hall of Famers, and then gonna turn around and say which future Hall of Famers Terrence Crawford beat. Errol Spence has beat more future Hall of Famers than Terrence Crawford. Okay, which future Hall of Famer he beat? He beat Sean Porter. Okay, all right. Y'all saying Sean Porter future Hall of Famer. Okay, who else he beat? Oh, he beat Danny Garcia. Okay, guys, listen. So now you guys predicting who gonna be in the Hall of Fame or not? Saying Danny Garcia and Sean Porter is future Hall of Famer. And Ocampo is a future Hall of Famer. I like, we see, okay. We would just okay. But basically, Errol Spence' whole resume, he fought future Hall of Famers. That's the case. Like, come on, man. These dudes be killing me. They kill me with this circular logic, man. They kill me, bro. I swear they do, man. Hey, what you say?
Because that's the only argument that they have. That's the only argument they have that they think can make sense. But it does make sense to people who've been watching boxing since 2002. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen boxing and been around boxing, been in the ring, or been consistently watching boxing for over 15, 20 years, you would have. That's all you know is what they teach. These people tell you and what you see now. You didn't see Leonard. You didn't see Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. You didn't see Azuma Nelson. You didn't see Alexis Arguello. You never saw these guys.
Yeah. Listen, Proud Father say Danny was a legit at 140. Yeah, he was. Give him some credit. There is his resume. It was pretty solid. At 140, he was pretty good at 140. He ain't fight Crawford at 140. He ain't fight what the dude named that Post All at 140. You know. So, but he was all right. He was all right at 140. So I give him some credit. He beat I think he fought Amir Khan, right? Didn't he fight Amir Khan?
Yeah, he fought him at 140. But their argument is at 47. And what we saying is at 147 pounds, Danny Garcia ain't done shit. Nothing.
At 47, yeah, we talking about 47, Proud Father. We talking about 47. So at 47, at 47, tell me you say Danny was legit at 140. Give him some credit. Tell me how legit he was at 147. Hey, I want to know how legit he was at 147 though. You know, Keith Thurman versus Crawford is the fight I like to see. Yeah, but you know, Peter, I would love to see that fight too. But Keith Thurman ain't fighting nobody. He ain't fighting nobody, and I don't think Al Heyman gonna let him fight. You know, they gotta listen to Uncle Al over there, man. Uncle Al, you know, is Uncle Al gonna let him fight? Garcia just trying to
you got that all wrong, Coach. They their own bosses over there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They their own bosses. So by Keith Thurman being his own boss, he should be able to make that fight happen then. You know, I would love to see that fight too, though. I would love to see that fight because I think because of Keith Thurman's athleticism, that'll be a damn good fight with him and Crawford. And footwork and stuff like that, that'll be a damn good fight with him and Crawford, bro. That'll be a damn good fight. You know what I mean? But
a prime Thurman versus Crawford, that's a hell of a fight.
Yeah,
but we don't know what Thurman is coming back.
Yeah,
we don't know what Thurman we're gonna get.
Man, they fought 2 years, man. So I don't know, man. I don't know. He haven't fought in 2 years. So you know, it's kind of hard for me to talk about fighters who are not active. You know what I mean? He's an inactive fighter, Coach. But it's not like they wrong though. Gotti and Rocky was in the Hall of Fame, and maybe they got. You say, oh, you talking about Gotti? Yo, Arturo Gotti is bro. Arturo, you can't even compare them dudes to Arturo Gotti though, Elvis. Arturo Gotti was you know what I mean? No, you can't.
At 140, Elvis, Arturo Gotti versus Danny Garcia. Who you putting your money on?
Hey, no, he say, Coach. It's not they wrong. Gotti and Rocky is in the Hall of Fame, and they may be right. Oh, you talking about Arturo Gotti? Yes. No, they put Rocky in there to my Balboa. Yeah, that's crazy, man. How you gonna put Rocky? How you gonna put a fictitious character in the Hall of Fame?
He's the world's greatest fake heavyweight. Bo, don't you got him in your top 10, Bo?
Hey, Elvis. They got a fictitious character, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, in the Hall of Fame.
I think my boy Bo got Rocky Balboa in his top 10, don't you?
Hey, Sean. Hey, Sean, I'm just thinking about that, right? How did he pull that off, man? Hey,
that is some crazy shit. That's the craziest shit I ever heard of in my life. I just shook my head when I heard it.
Hey, so Elvis might have a point. Bro. If Rocky Balboa, if Rocky Balboa can be in the Hall of Fame, then Danny Garcia can get in the Hall of Fame as well. You know, so he make a valid point. As a matter of fact, while we at it, we gonna put Ocampo in there too. The other dude that Errol Spence beat. We gonna put Ocampo in there as well. Ocampo should be in the Hall of Fame. I can't give you a logical reason why he should be there, but we just gonna throw him in there anyways. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know what his resume looked like. Never heard of the guy, and I don't think no boxer in the sport of boxing that's currently boxing today know who Ocampo is, but we might as well throw him in the Hall of Fame too, since we doing that. You know what I mean? So Carmen Serene said Arturo Gado will smoke Danny's. Oh yeah, absolutely. Man, listen. Absolutely. Carmen, you hit the nail. Matter of fact, we're gonna ring the Ali bell and RP to Arturo Gado. Ring the Ali bell. That man was a warrior. That man was serious. That man was serious. RP to my brother, man. Jason Porter say, why is that so funny? Rocky Balboa was the greatest fictitious character ever in history. Wow. Are you serious or are you joking? Well, you must be serious because you asked me why is that so funny. Wow.
I hope you're not, because you can play basketball, Jason. You can play football, but you don't play boxing.
Wow. This guy is dead serious. Everyone knows who Rocky is. Big difference. He was famous. He was as famous as Ali. All right, you know what? I'm not even gonna comment on that. Because
that don't even deserve a response.
For you to even say something like that, it don't even deserve a response. You like literally. You have no idea how retarded that sounds. But that's your opinion, and you have a right to your, in my opinion, retarded opinion. You have a right to that.
Yeah, why would you come to a boxing channel with an idiotic opinion like that?
This man say that a fictitious character, an actor played by Sylvester Stallone, should be in the Hall of Fame. The boxing Hall of Fame amongst boxers who were not actors, who were not fictitious characters, but were boxers. Oh my God. That's all I got to say about that. I'm done. I'm not done. I'm done. That means well done. Overly cooked. You see what I'm saying? Burnt cooked. That's what that means.
So in that case, I guess we ought to put the girl, what's her name? The actress, the one that played in Love and Basketball. She should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame then, right?
Yeah, you're talking about the sister that played in Love. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, you're right.
So she should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame then.
Yeah, I forgot her last name Lathan, I think. Lathan. Sanana Lathan or something like that. Yeah. You might
Sanana Lathan. She should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Not only that, we might as well put what the brother that's playing in Creed right now, the actor that's playing in Creed. What's the actor that's playing in Creed?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. We might as well put Michael B. Jordan in. We might as well put Michael B. Jordan in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Hey, as a matter of fact, Will Smith played Ali. We might as well put him in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Hey, we might as well put Michael J. White, who played Mike Tyson. We might as well put him in the Boxing Hall of Fame then. And we go by your logic.
Don't forget about the greatest heavyweight of all time, Apollo Creed. He needs to be in there too.
Oh man. Oh, he said, okay, you got me. I was just joking. Hey man, you didn't have a smiley face emoji on there, Jason. You didn't have a smiley face emoji on there, so I took that as being serious. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, we might as well just put some actors in there then, man. We're gonna put it's a boxing movie that what the Italian dude name? Actor Robert De Niro played. I think him and Sylvester Stallone fighting each other.
Yeah. And he played Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta. So throw him in there too.
Yeah, we're gonna put Robert De Niro in there in the Boxing Hall of Fame too. We're gonna put him in there with Sugar Ray Robinson, Ali, Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Larry Holmes, George Foreman. We're gonna put him in there with all of them. I think Simon Brown finally got in there, right? I think Simon Brown finally got in there in the Hall of Fame not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check and see. I think Simon Brown, or is he? Because I've been petitioning. I was saying that dude, me and Blood was talking about that. They should have been put
Simon Brown should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, like you. I mean, we might as well. I'm just saying since we going by that. You know what I mean?
Okay, Coach Jason say ask him a serious boxing question. He knows boxing.
All right, so ask you a serious boxing question. All right, so I'll tell you what, this is a serious boxing question then. Okay, tell me how do you see this fight playing out with Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence? Errol Spence is 5'9.5". I think he has a 72-inch arm reach. Manny Pacquiao is 5'6". He has a 67-inch arm reach. Tell me, serious boxing question, how do you see this fight playing out? Tell me some of the ways or even one way that you can see Errol Spence dominating Manny Pacquiao, or tell me a way how you can see Manny Pacquiao can pull this fight off against a younger, stronger, bigger, taller guy at the age of 42. That's a serious question. I'll wait on your answer. Let's see. What you say, Carmen Serene? His dunks in Space Jam were legendary. Hey, what you say, Peter Bardos? Elmer Ford used to be a top marksman until they took his gun away. All the fame. Hey, George Iceman Chambers from Undisputed, Knockside Rocky Balboa. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame too. Hey, man. Yeah, you know, proud father. Simon Brown upsets my boy Terry Norris in the first fight. Still have, yeah, man. Simon Brown. Yeah, Simon Brown, I think he was Jamaican. He was Jamaican too, wasn't he, Shelton?
Oh, yes, man. Yard man. Yard boy.
I think, yeah. Yeah, he was a bad boy. You listen, Buddy McGirt beat Simon Brown.
Buddy McGirt was a champion, two-time champion. Buddy McGirt
was a bad boy, man. I think Buddy McGirt had like 70 fights, and he won like 63 of them, something like that. Like literally, bro. Like, hold on, let me make sure. Let me make sure. Hold on, Buddy McGirt. I'm telling you, bro. Buddy McGirt, man, was Buddy McGirt. Let me see. I got him right here. Buddy McGirt. I'm finna tell you right now. I think Buddy McGirt had like 70 fights. Pulling them up right here. Oh, I was wrong. He had 80 fights.
James Buddy McGirt.
80 fights, 73 wins, 48 knockouts. Buddy McGirt, bad boy. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, all I'm talking about is he fought at lightweight, welterweight, and junior welterweight. Let me see. What all division he fought at? Buddy McGirt, he fought at lightweight, welterweight, and light middleweight. Buddy McGirt was a bad boy.
Yes, he was.
You know, 80 fights, bro. You win 73 of them. That's very impressive to me. And Buddy McGirt can still talk. He can still talk. You know what I mean? He's a great trainer. He's a great trainer as well. You see what I'm saying? Some people gave that first fight to McGirt against Whitaker. Yeah, man. You know, I didn't, because you know I was a Pernell Whitaker fanboy, so I didn't give him the first fight. I'll just say that with you. But the second fight, but all jokes aside, the first fight was a damn good fight between him and Pernell Whitaker. The first fight between Buddy McGirt was a damn good fight. I can see that argument. The second fight, Pernell watched him. He watched him the second fight. Jason said that I agree that Spence has the edge, age, height, weight, etc. But Pacquiao experience as an 8th division world champion means that he can do just about anything. All right, we'll find out. So that was a serious question for you, Jason. Let's see, Batman. Let's see, Captain Al Pacino said Batman should be in the Hall of Fame. He's a hell of a fighter. Batman is a mixed martial artist too. You know, he know it all. Brown had Terry Norris dancing. Yes, he did. Terrible Terry Norris, man. Yes, he did. But listen, they had some lightweights, welterweights, and junior middleweights at that time, bro. At that time, hell, I even say middleweights at that time, man. Between the 80s and 90s, between the 80s and about the mid 90s, oh my God, bro. Woo! Then of course we had what we had in the heavyweight division. That era of boxing, I see why people say, Shelton, that era and Bowl, that era of boxing, the 80s and 90s was the golden era. Because literally
competitive fights and competitive fighters.
Literally, it was like you got the fights then. Now it's just too much politics, man. Promoters stopping their fighters, this guy on that side of the street. I'm not saying that boxing has never been political. It just seems like now it's even more political than ever, in my opinion. At least back then, like you can say what you want to say about Don King and old ass Barbara M, who I don't like. At that time, at least they gave you the fights. Today, But don't get me wrong. We are getting a fight with Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. So I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. They pulled that off. Al Heyman them pulled that off. I'm not mad. Well, I'm not gonna say Al Heyman pulled it off. Manny Pacquiao pulled that off. Because you don't pick Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao pick you.
But see, here's the problem I have with today's era, Coach. Because I don't know if I'm just stupid when it comes to business or whatever. But I thought if I pay you, that means you work for me. Am I wrong for that?
You're right for that.
So if I'm the fighter and the promoter works for me, why can't I get the fight made that I want made? If I'm the fighter and I'm paying you.
Yeah, because what this is the deal with the PBC. The PBC, Al Heyman controls the money. He controls the money. He the one. Well, I don't like, he's the face of it. So everybody say Al Heyman, but they don't see the investors, the silent partners. But Al Heyman is the one who secured the bag from the networks. And then they take that money from the networks, and this is how they pay the fighters and stuff like that. The fighter can't do anything because he don't know how to book a fight for himself on the network. He don't know how to work with other different promoters in order to, because PBC work with different promoters for different fights. You know what I mean? The fighter can't do that. So they need Al Heyman. So their dependence on Al Heyman in order to get them fight dates, in order to get them help come up with the money, and in order to pay certain fighters and pay them in order for them to fight, they have to listen to Uncle Al.
Well, if I'm a competitive fighter, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. Would you?
I think Al got baptized or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I
wouldn't give a shit what kind of ties he had. If I'm a competitive fighter and I want to fight the best, I don't want to be in that situation. Now tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's a legitimate argument, yo. You know what I mean? But that just goes. So these guys talking out of both sides of their neck, though. You know what I mean? 1 minute you're your own boss, the next minute call Al. If I have to call somebody, I'm not my own boss. You know what I mean? The definition of your own boss is you do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. You don't have to answer to anybody.
Now, I will say this. Floyd was his own boss.
Yeah, Floyd. Floyd was his own boss because Floyd is the PBC. Floyd made the PBC.
Right.
Period.
And if you go back in the days, you look at the fighters back in the days, they was their own bosses because they said make the fight. And the promoter made the fight. Whether it was Dan King, whether it was Bob Arum, this the fight I want, man. Make the fight.
Peter Varnock say Bob Arum owns Crawford's ass. It's too bad. Anybody, listen, anytime you have a contract with a promotional company, whether it be PBC or Top Rank, the promoter owns you. I don't know how long you've been watching boxing, Peter Varnock, but anybody that has a promotional contract with a promoter, you are owned by that promoter. Even though it should be the other way around, the promoter works for the boxer. But once you have a contract, that's just the way boxing goes. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, but because the promoter is now paying you and hoping to get a return on his investment.
Ask Mikey Garcia. All you got to do is ask Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia fought under Top Rank. What did Mikey do? I don't like Top Rank anymore. I want to leave. What happened? He had to go to court, and he sat on the shelf for 2 years. So that's the way boxing works on Peter Varnock. You know what I mean? So that's the way boxing works, period. There's a reason why Adrian Broner complaining. He can't get a fight date. Uncle Al is he owned them dudes in the PBC, period. One way. So that's just how it works.
J-Man, that's not on Manny. That's on them fighters that's scary. That has nothing to do with Manny Pacquiao. Look at J-Man's comment. The one above next.
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
J-Man, what you say? Only reason Pacquiao ain't any good is because of the fighters are unnecessarily nervous when they fight him. Hey, man.
That's not on him.
Yeah, they ain't got nothing to do with Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Boxing is just follow the way the rest of the world is going. So social media plays a big part and all. Yeah, Philly Fly, man. It's just a different era, brother. Coach, everyone had the chance. Look at Spinks. He became undisputed heavyweight champion of the world after only eight professional bouts. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that. Me and Shelton talked about that. You know, so we talked about that when people say Anthony Joshua lost to a fat boy, Andrew Ruiz. Dude, if you've been watching boxing long enough, upsets happen in the sport of boxing. Ali lost to Leon Spence, and Leon Spence had like 7, 8 professional fights. So what you saying? Like, what does that mean? So they use that as a logic, circular logic. Well, because he lost to Andy Ruiz in the first fight, that means that if he fight Anthony Joshua, Anthony Joshua fight Deontay Wilder, what you think Wilder gonna do to him? You can't use the triangle theory, brother. You know
we
what I mean?
don't know what Wilder would do to him because he hasn't fought him yet. Exactly.
We'll know when they fight. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of narrative you're trying to push. Have a good idea. I'm not saying you on Southside Boxing. Now, I'm not saying that you have a narrative, brother. I'm just saying that these guys who use this logic, the narrative, what they try to pull is, Bob could have made the Pacquiao Crawford fight, but he didn't. Bob has the first nickel ever made. Yeah, that is what it is. Don King was the same thing. Any promoter in the history of boxing, that's the way boxing rolls. That's the way boxing rolls. We don't like it, but that's just what it is. What it is. Once you sign the contract, you know what I mean. The promoter who puts the money up for the fight or raises the money, he controls the fighter. The fighter cannot do anything. The fighter can't move, can't leave. He can't do anything. I got a book over there. I got a book over there by Don King called Only in America. And in that book, Only in America, Don King talked about how Larry Holmes was very upset with him. And Larry Holmes wanted to leave. And he told Larry Holmes, he said, boy, you're going to fight tonight. You're going to take whatever money I give you. Because if you don't, I'm going to have your legs broken into so many pieces that you're going to have to crawl. To get to your car to drive home. This is in Don King's book. And Larry Holmes confirmed this, right? And Larry Holmes was forced to keep fighting under Don King until he was able to leave, of course, because he was under contract. This is how boxing goes, Peter Von Arps.
This was in Larry Holmes' book. Larry Holmes said in 1979, he fought for Don King 7 times.
Right.
Do you know how much money he made, Peter? In 7 fights, he made $700. Yeah. He said that's when he knew, I need to go out here and beat everybody, get all these belts. Once I get the belts, I don't have to answer to nobody. And that's exactly what he did because Don King had it. There's nothing he could do.
Right. Ray Robinson said that, I know, Proud Father said Ray Robinson was his own boss back in the day. He was very hard to negotiate with. Demanded things, fights weren't made. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think Ray Robinson. I don't know who his promoter was. I don't even know if Ray Robinson had a promoter.
Ray Robinson was his own promoter. He was his own manager. He negotiated his own contracts.
Right. But I'm saying like in the beginning, like when he started boxing professionally in 1940, and I know he boxed for 25 years. So in the beginning, I don't know if he had a promoter. But you're right about that, Proud Father. When you are your own boss, your own promoter, and you ain't got to call Al, you see what I'm saying? You can call yourself. Hey, self, listen, what you want to do? Yeah, man, tell him I want this. Okay, that's what you want? Yeah, this is what I want. Okay, hey, listen, man, I just talked to myself. Myself told me that I want A, B, C, and D. This is, you know what I mean? So in that situation, that's different. But most fighters is not Ray Robinson. So, majority of fighters is not Ray Robinson. Hell, Ali did what he wanted to do.
Because he had the nation behind him. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, here's the thing, Peter. What Bud is doing right now, if you don't actually, is smart. I got till October to be with this dude. I'm making $4.5 million no matter who I fight. Plus, every fight I take that is not Errol Spence, I get an extra $1 million. So I'm gonna fight this last fight, get my extra $1 million, and then I'm out of here. And I can negotiate my own thing. Because you got me 3 years ago when you promised me the Pacquiao fight. You got me. That's why I stayed with you. You didn't give me the fight. So now I see what I'm dealing with. I still got a couple good years left to make this paper. I'm gonna leave here and I'm gonna make the paper and I'm gonna retire.
Right. And Peter, I don't know if you know, I don't know if you've been on the show, but yeah, you have been on the show. I hear what you're saying. Terrence needs to get out. Bud needs to get the hell out of Aaron's grip. How can he get out of Aaron's grip, Peter? What do you suggest right now? What would you tell Terrence Crawford? Because you say he needs to get out of Bob Arum's grip. And I have said many times on this show that Terrence Crawford cannot leave because his contract expires in October. I'm going to say it again. Terrence Crawford's contract expires with Top Rank in October. He had a 6-fight, 3-year deal, right? How do I know? I spoke with Bernie the Barber, right? Terrence Crawford, if he tries to break his contract, if he tries to breach his contract like Mikey Garcia did, he would get taken to court, sit on the shelf, and then he's going to go through years of litigation like Mikey Garcia did. 2 years. I hope you understand this. If you understand this, then you would know that it's not as simple as you're saying, yeah, well, Crawford need to get the hell away from out of Bob Arum's grip. He will be able to get out of Bob Arum's grip once his contract is up. But until then, we can talk till our lips fall off what Crawford needs to do, who he's not fighting, why I don't like Crawford, or why I do like Crawford, or he ain't fought nobody, or he ain't did this, he ain't did that. He can't do nothing until October. So all I can say is sit back, hate him, don't hate him, like him, don't like him, eat your popcorn, and just let the greatest show. I know who I talk to, so I know a little bit more about the situation than you do. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, Jason, you're right. Let's talk about them 3 fights. How do you see Wilder Fury 3? How do you see Pacquiao Spence? How do you see Davis versus Barrios? How do you see those fights?
I'll tell you how I see those fights. I answer that question. Wilder Fury 3. I see that fight going 12 rounds. I know you guys think I'm smoking crack, but I'm not. I'm gonna tell you. I'm finna explain. I see that fight going 12 rounds. Wilder is not going to come ill prepared in the third fight like he did in the second fight. Wilder has got thoroughly embarrassed. Wilder has an entire bomb squad nation. Behind him who says that their king has got beat. He was cheated, and Wilder helped feed his minions this narrative, right? So Wilder got thoroughly embarrassed and beat on Black History Month. This is what Deontay Wilder said. I pulled, and listen, I get it, guys. I get it. Where's Wilder at? Wilder, this is what Wilder said. Because I was doing some research on this. This is going to be for a premiere video that I'm going to drop. Wilder said right here. Remember, guys, I've been consistent with this. I said what made me kind of fall out with Wilder was not only the excuses that he made in the second fight with Tyson Fury, but he made it racial leading up to the fight. How do I know he made it racial? Well, my receipt right here says that when you want to find out something, you go straight to the horse's mouth. Let's go to the horse's mouth. Basically, Tyson Fury said this. Tyson Fury has said his fight against Deontay Wilder on Saturday is not a racial war. Where did he come from with that? Fury challenges Wilder for the America's world title, the WBC championship at the MGM Grand Garden Arena this weekend. But at Wednesday's press conference, which Business Insider attended, Fury said, "I'm not into all this racial thing with a black man versus a white man in Black History Month." This is what Wilder did. Wilder made this very racial. Now, how do I know? Let's read what Wilder said. Wilder said, the comeback sports editor for the Sporting News and DAZN, Andreas Halley, asked Wilder if he was looking to create a big moment in Black History Month. Halley said that this is what Wilder said. Wilder said this. He said in the first fight, the guy said in the first fight, you went viral. Now this is Black History Month. Are you looking to make a comeback, a big moment in Black History Month? This is what Wilder said. Wilder said this. Finna find it. Wilder said this. They picked the wrong date, the wrong month for this fight to happen. And when I knock out the Gypsy Queen, we're going to have a Black History trivia question and spread it all over the world. And then he went to saying all kind of other stuff about his people and what we've been through and the white man this and the white man that. And this is what, and if you guys know, I've been consistent. I've been consistent. I said I don't like race hustling. And skin color ain't got nothing to do with the sport of boxing. And Wilder is the one that introduced this, and he got his fans riled up. His fanboys, not his fans, his fanboys riled up. And this is why you have the alphabet boys right here today, the way they are now, because of what Wilder did. And I've been consistent. If you look at any videos I have ever made about Wilder, this is what I see. I said, man, when he started making it racial, because I hate that. I hate that. And then so I see that fight going 12 rounds. If it goes 12 rounds, I see Tyson Fury beating Wilder in a 12-round decision. The only chance Wilder has to beat Tyson Fury, he's going to have to knock him out. Period. He has a puncher's chance. He's not going to outbox Tyson Fury. He doesn't have the footwork that Tyson Fury has. He doesn't have the defense Tyson Fury has, right? He doesn't know how to fight in angles. Maybe he's working on it now, whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of different things that Wilder can do. Maybe Wilder can work on his jab a little bit better, but from a boxing standpoint, I do not see Wilder outboxing Tyson Fury in a boxing match. Fury needs to put Wilder on the back foot. If you put him on the back foot, he increases his chances of beating Deontay Wilder in a 12-round decision. If he allows Wilder to dictate the timing, if he allows Wilder to dictate the pace, and he allows Wilder to put him on the back foot, Fury will have a difficult chance beating Wilder. You see what I'm saying? He need to do exactly what he did in the first fight. Come at Wilder, come forward, keep Wilder going backwards. You see what I'm saying? Time him when to come in, wait on Wilder to throw that right hand and counter him. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the only chance Wilder got. The point chance. That's how I see that fight playing out. 12-round decision, Tyson Fury winning. Pac-Man and Spence fight, I told you, I'm hoping Pac-Man win the fight, but I see Spence beating Manny Pacquiao. I just think he's too old, and I think Spence is going to be on top of his game, and I just think that he's just going to – I think that's going to be a 12-round decision for Errol Spence. But I hope I'm wrong. I'm rooting for Manny Pacquiao to beat Errol Spence so desperately. And Gervonta Davis fight, I'm going with Shelton Moore put me up on this fight. I didn't know anything about this fight. Shelton say he got the other guy. I don't even know the guy's name that's fighting Tank Davis. I'm gonna go with that guy to beat Tank because of my brother Shelton. So I can't tell you how that's gonna go down. I'm just gonna go with him. And as it relates to Canelo and Caleb Plant, I see Caleb Eggplant getting buried in the ground. Caleb Eggplant is going to get planted. That's what I see. Caleb Eggplant will get stopped in 6 rounds.
Now here we go, Jason. I'm gonna start in the reverse order. Canelo Alvarez is gonna beat the Hebrew out of Caleb Plant. I'm a coach, maybe 6-7 rounds. Caleb Plant's out of there. Tank Davis is moving up 2 weight classes to fight a younger, bigger, undefeated champion who has knockout power. I don't see all these boxing skills that everybody's telling me that Tank Davis has. I've never seen him. He's never had to use them. He may have them, but he's never had to use them. So I see Tank not being able to get away from that jab, and I see Tank getting stopped by Mario Barrios. We're going to go
Mario
to
Barrios,
Yeah,
no,
Mario Barrios.
Mario Barrios, yeah.
Yes. Now we're going to go to the other fight on that agenda with Spence and Manny Pacquiao. I see Errol Spence being too young and too big and too strong for Manny Pacquiao. I don't think he knocks out Manny Pacquiao, but I think he beats on Manny Pacquiao for 12 rounds. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision for Errol Spence. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. And when it comes to Wilder and Tyson Fury, I just rewatched that fight last Sunday, the first fight. Wilder has what it takes to beat Fury. He needs to use his jab, keep the jab in his face, and come forward. If you know anything about boxing, you know Wilder's a puncher. A puncher has no power if he's moving backwards. He has to be coming forward. So he needs to keep the jab on Fury and throw the right hand. Don't try to implement all these new boxing tools that you have never used in your entire career, because when you get in the ring and try to do something unfamiliar and the shit don't work, you're going to go right back to what you used to doing. So just come at Fury, throw the jab, throw the right hand. Keep him moving backwards, make him box. Take all that coming forward away from Fury. Every time he steps forward, throw that right hand at his ass. Make him back up. That's your only chance to win this fight if you catch him, because you're not going to outbox him and you're not going to be going to the body and slipping punches. That's not what you do. You're 35 years old. Your whole career has been spent knocking people out. Do what you do best. Just be in shape and ready to go 12 rounds, and you got a shot. Other than that, the result is probably going to be the same. Fury probably beats you again.
Right, and this another thing I have to say. This to say. The stuff that I've been seeing coming from Bomb Squad Nation about Fury's cheating and this and that and yada 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 yada, and this is the only reason why Tyson Fury won. I don't see that Fury Wilder is going to win this fight again, because if you truly feel like, and I've been consistent with this, if you feel like that the only reason you lost this fight was because this guy cheated you, you didn't lose this fight because you didn't have any head movement. You didn't lose this fight because you didn't know how to fight at the back foot. You didn't lose this fight because you don't have the proper footwork. You didn't lose this fight because your defense was you had so many flaws in your defense. You didn't lose this fight because you didn't know how to use feints. You didn't use this fight because you didn't know how to work behind the jab. You didn't work the body. You didn't lose this fight because of those lack of skills that you have. You only lost because you were cheated. You're going to go into the ring with that same mentality, and you're going to get beat again. Go ahead, Bo.
Now, I was going to say, Shelton, man, with as far as with the Tank Davis, man, you gotta spin it like how the Alphabet Boys were spinning it with Mikey, and said Tank Davis ain't moving up 2 weight classes, because that's what they said about Mikey. Because Mikey went down, he fought once at 140, he went down to 135, won a title, then he went up 2 weight classes to fight Spence. And then I hear those same people, they was getting on Mikey. They was like, nah, he ain't move up 2 weight classes. He only moved up 1 because he had a fight at 140. But then when it comes to Tank Davis, who's doing the exact same thing for that 35, then he went down to 130 and he's going to 140. Now they saying, yo, Tank moving up 2 weight classes. But they didn't have that same energy when it came to Mikey moving up 2 weight classes.
Oh, that's my bad, brother. I forgot all about that garbage.
Anyway, let me answer this question here. Shield said that Terrence Crawford could have bought his contract out from Top Rank. My question to Shield was, how do you personally know that Terrence Crawford could have bought his contract out for Top Ranks? Shield response was, boxing always, I guess he meant to say boxers always in boxing, there's always a buyout clause in Aaron's contract. Sir, that's not answering the question. So basically what you're saying is, it is your opinion, not actual fact, that Terrence Crawford had a buyout clause in his particular contract and he could have bought it out. I'm going to tell you where you're wrong at, sir. I'm going to tell you where you're wrong at. You saying that because Floyd Mayweather was successfully able to buy out his contract. That's because Bob Arum allowed him to buy the contract out. Because Bob Arum said he was losing money with Floyd Mayweather. Same thing he's saying about Terrence Crawford. I'm losing money. This guy can't sell nothing. He did it with Terrence Crawford. He ended up, taking a dump on Manny Pacquiao at the end. He did it to Mikey Garcia. Now he's doing it to Crawford. He did it to De La Hoya. Well, he couldn't say De La Hoya couldn't sell, but they just fell out for some reason, right? So you assuming that Terrence Crawford had an opportunity to buy his contract out. What I don't like doing, sir, is assuming. Because if I don't have actual facts on another man's business as it relates to a contract that I personally have not seen and that I personally have no knowledge of what the details is, I cannot assume or say that Terrence Crawford could have bought his contract out. You don't know that. And since you know that much, that Terrence Crawford could have bought his contract out and since you know that much that Terrence Crawford could have bought his contract out for Bob Arum, how much he could have bought it out for? Since you know that much. And please break that down to me. Please, sir. Maybe you can educate me. You said Arum alluded to it before, as far as Crawford. Sir, you got to show me the receipts, sir. Bring me some receipts.
Did Bob say how much?
Because of what you're saying.
Maybe the cost of the buyout was more than Crawford was willing to spend. You ever think about that?
I spoke to Bunny the Boxer. I haven't spoke to anybody in the chat. I spoke to the guy who is with Terrence Crawford every day. I would take his word over somebody, no disrespect to anyone, but to somebody in the chat. That's like, you know what I mean? Because he knows more about that situation than me or you. You see what I'm saying? So do you have any inside information, sir, that you can share with me? Give me a receipt. Send me a video where Bob Arum said, hey, Terrence Crawford could have bought the contract out. All he had to do was just buy his contract out. I let him go. Please send me that receipt. I would love to have it. If you don't have that, sir, then I would say what you're saying is cap, and you have no actual facts on what you're basing the statement on. With all due respect.
Now to Jason in the chat, yeah, he did have a chance to fight Manny Pacquiao, but the terms that Manny Pacquiao sent him was something he did not want to agree to.
What? Hold on. What is he talking about?
Oh, you know, when Pacquiao and Crawford were supposed to fight, Pacquiao sent the Crawford camp a term sheet, and they sent that shit back. They didn't want.
He didn't
want to agree to those terms.
No.
He didn't want to agree to those terms.
Okay, I'm finna address that right now because I had a receipts on that. Bo Mack, listen, this is what I want you to do, Jason. Go on YouTube, subscribe to Bernie the Boxer. Bernie the Boxer. I'm finna spell it for you. BERNIE, the THA Boxer. YouTube channel. Go to Bernie the Boxer's YouTube channel. Bo Mack is on there. Bo Mack said that he is the one that told Terrence Crawford not to sign that contract. See, I don't go by what assumptions and this person saying this is they ain't got no receipts. I deal with receipts. I deal with what I hear from the horse's mouth. I deal with primary sources of information. Bo Mack is Terrence Crawford's manager. Bo Mack said that there were no funds there for that fight. Bo Mack said the same thing that Deontay Wilder said with Anthony Joshua. We need to see the funds. What proof of funds? The same thing that Tyson Fury said. We need to see the proof of funds. Tell AJ I need to see the proof of funds. The proof of funds. You know, I need a boatload of money in my account. Bo Mack specifically said in that video, he said there was no money there. He said they want us to sign a contract with no money. Manny Pacquiao signed his portion of the contract, but when he asked, hey, okay, where the money at? Where the funds at? You say Terrence Crawford is supposed to get paid this amount of money. He said that whoever the investors were that was supposed to put that money up, there was no money there. No one put no money up. And he said that he advised Terrence Crawford not to sign the contract with no money. And that's why he didn't sign it. Now, this is what Bo Mack said. Now, whether you want to believe that or not, it's up to you. I can't make you believe anything you don't want to believe. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. Terrence Crawford don't have $40 million to pay Manny Pacquiao. Terrence Crawford has a net worth of $8 million. So the money wasn't going to come from him. You see what I'm saying? Whoever these investors were was supposed to put the money up. Apparently the money wasn't there. But from my understanding, Bob Arum, I saw a video of Terrence Crawford saying Manny Pacquiao priced himself out. I saw it this morning. Yeah, but back to what I was saying though. Was Bob Arum, because he don't like Terrence Crawford, since he losing all kind of money on Terrence Crawford. I'm pretty sure that Bob Arum is not trying to make no fights for Terrence Crawford anyways. Especially when you got a promoter that's saying that he's losing money on you, he don't believe in you, he don't have any faith in you. So what made me believe that this promoter is working for me to try to get me a fight with Manny Pacquiao? What made me believe that this promoter is trying to work for me to get me a fight with anybody big? He's not. So Bob Arum is the problem. Terrence Crawford is under contract with Top Rank until October of this year. He has one more fight on this contract. He will leave when his contract is up. So we'll just be patient.
And also check this out, Jason. Well, what you just said, Manny wanted $40 million to fight Terrence Crawford. He's not getting $40 million to fight Errol Spence. Now, I'm going to ask you to use your logical brain. Why do you think he wanted so much to fight the one guy and less to fight the other guy? I'll let you sit with that one.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So he said, Bo Mack and M agrees Terrence Crawford not pay-per-view star. No one wants to come up with the money. Okay, so let me use your logic. If no one wants to come up with the money, then how is he going to fight? How is he going to fight somebody if no one wants to come up with money? That answers your question right there. So this guy, Beast Mode Psych, says Crawford won't even fight Sean Porter. I tried all of these excuses coming from Crawford fans. I guess you said I'm tired.
Get him, coach. Get him, coach.
Beast Mode, you don't know what you're talking about, sir. This is what I'm going to say, sir. Beast Mode, go to the Porter Way podcast. Sean Porter explains this very perfectly. I understand, sir, that you probably an LDBC fanboy. I understand, sir, that you're probably a pro PBC fight fanboy. I get it. I understand it. You probably don't like Terrence Crawford, and that's fine. I don't think Terrence Crawford gives a damn about whether you like him or not, or what I think about him personally. But I say all that to say this. Sean Porter specifically said that, the reason why that the fight won't happen between him and Terrence Crawford, he said that he was the #1 mandatory. I don't know if you know this. Even if you do know this, you probably have a hidden narrative or agenda. Anyways, that's not a problem. But let me correct you, and I can send you on your merry way. Sean Porter said that he was the #1 mandatory for Terrence Crawford's WBO strap for 1 year. Sean Porter said that Sean Porter could have activated the mandatory clause. He argued on this podcast saying that people don't know what a mandatory clause is. Errol Spence said, listen, man, you're the #1 mando. If you want to fight me, just activate the mandatory clause. Sean Porter specifically said that, hey, he has people that he has to listen to, and he cannot make moves or decision unless his team tells him to. This is what Sean Porter says. This is not what Beast Mode Psych said. This is not what anybody in the chat said. This is what Sean Porter said out of his own mouth. How do I know? I'm a subscriber of Sean Porter on the Porter Way podcast, and Sean Porter specifically explained this because there was people in his chat asking him questions about the mandatory in the Terrence Crawford situation. So he specifically said that the reason why him and Terrence Crawford hasn't fight, he's not going to say that Terrence Crawford didn't want to fight him or he didn't want to fight Terrence Crawford. He's saying that, listen, he has people that he has to listen to. And the people who he has to listen to did not advise him to activate anything. This is why the fight didn't happen. This is the reason why the WBO removed Sean Porter from the #1 spot and replaced him with Virgil Ortiz. If you didn't know that, now you know that, and that's it. So, adios.
And Jason, back to you, Jason. Have you seen the contract for the Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao fight? If you have, then you know that he's making 25 to 30 million. If you haven't, you don't know what that man is making. Yeah. You have no idea what that man's making. You have no idea what the pay-per-view is going to be. You just speculate.
If I was Crawford, I wouldn't have signed the damn contract. Wow. Okay. He wouldn't have signed the contract to make $4.5 million and per fight. And if the promoter told you that, hey, I'm gonna get you these big fights. Now, hindsight is 2020. See what y'all doing? Y'all playing Monday morning quarterback right now. That's what y'all doing. Y'all saying what you would have done, wouldn't have done after the fact. And it's easy to say that. It's easy to say that after the fact. You see what I'm saying? So, if you sign a contract and you're getting paid $4.3 million to fight Jeff Horn and $4.4 million to fight Mean Machine and Benavidez and all these other guys, and your promoter's telling you, hey man, I'm gonna get you these fights, and that was the incentive to get you to sign the contract with him, and he's paying you guaranteed money. How can you sit back and say, well, I tell you what, let me go back. You said if I was Crawford, you wouldn't have signed the damn contract. You're Jason Porritz. You're not Crawford. Crawford signed the contract. He did what he felt like he had to do for him and his family. The promoter did tell him he was going to get him the fights. 3 years later, we find out that the promoter was lying Bob Arum. He couldn't get him the fights. His contract is up in October, and that's it. Simple. It's really not a big deal, to be honest with you. It's not a big deal. The reason why it's not a big deal is because the guy's contract up is in October. It's not a big deal. If you rock with Crawford, cool. If you don't rock with him. Period.
Facts.
I'm gonna still rock with him regardless of what anybody in the chat say. regardless.
I thought Bomac also said the money wasn't even there, and they wanted Crawford to sign a contract anyway, even though there was no money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he did say that. He did say that. But for someone who don't like Crawford, they don't want to hear that because they have these narratives. And I get it. Trust me, I get it, fam. I get it. I get it. I get it. I know. 9 times out of 10, these are PBC guys, and they just, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Right. Hey, Oscar, this is for you. If Taylor moves up to fight Crawford, Taylor don't go past 6.
So I mean, I don't know, man. Yeah, these guys. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. No, that's a lie. I do get it. I do. Trust me, I get it. I get it. I get exactly what your angle is and where you're coming from. Trust me, I do. Trust me, I do. I get your angle. And I get where you're coming from. I get it. But anyways, you know what I mean? Southside Box, what you say, true, coach. And this is what these people do to you. They get you in a room, they start throwing big numbers at you, and they promise you all these things, all these big fights, just to get you to sign. And see, the people who are in the chat, some of them, you can tell they know nothing about the sport of boxing just based on the things they say out of their mouth. Southside Boxing is a boxer. You could tell, and I say this all the time on my channel. I say I can tell exactly how long you've been watching the sport of boxing, what you know about the sport of boxing, based on some of the things you say in the chat. You can tell. They talk about.
Here's something, coach. Here's something for Oscar again. He's going crazy, I guess. Why would I move down to 40 to fight a guy when I'm fighting at 47? I'm almost 34 years old, and I'm planning on moving up to 54. Why would I move back to 40? For what? That makes no sense.
Oscar,
and to my boy Halim, I love Josh Taylor. I'm a Josh Taylor fan, and he's great from 140. 140, he can be dominant. At 147, we being real, Halim. At 147, he don't beat nobody. All of them dudes beat him at 47.
Halim say Taylor won't fight Crawford. Yeah, not yet. Nah, I don't think. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Crawford will change Taylor. He won't be the same. Yeah. I'm consistent. I like Josh Taylor, man, but I don't care how good he is, what kind of skills he got. He ain't beating no Crawford. But if he want to move, Josh, I like Josh Taylor, love Josh Taylor, and you guys know Crawford is my guy. But he's a grown man. If he think he can move up and take him, move up and take him. Maybe he can do what Roberto Duran did and the Grace did. We'll see. Who knows? Jason said at the end of the day, Spence versus Pacquiao will probably generate more money than Pacquiao versus Crawford. Don't you think? Yeah, I don't know. I can't say. Both of them are big. Both of them fights are big. In order for me to say that, those fights will have to happen. I don't have any knowledge that I can base that on. You know what I mean? Both of those, it just depends on what the fans will determine that. But this is how we can know the answer for sure, Jason. Manny Pacquiao fight Spence, we see what the numbers do, and then the Manny Pacquiao fight Crawford, we'll see what the numbers do, and then we can compare. But everything else from there is just speculation.
Hey, I want to see Crawford fight Josh at 147 because my thing is if Josh Taylor moves up, and let's say if Crawford doesn't fight him, some PBC fighter is going to fight him that the LDBC love, and then they're going to say, yo, Josh Taylor's the man. Crawford's still fighting bums. Look, he's, Errol Spence is even fighting Josh Taylor. So I'd rather see Crawford get the fight with Josh Taylor before any of them PBC guys get that fight.
So Oscar says, so Bud can't move to 140, yet Lopez wants Taylor at 135.
Lopez fights at 35, dummy.
Well, bro, like, woo, bro, I don't get, like, I'm confused. I really am confused, brother. Like, I don't get.
Yeah, Lopez will be moving up. Yeah. Bud is not going back to 40. He already did that. Why would he go back to 40? There's no money down there for the fan.
Yeah, Josh Taylor's not fighting at 135. If Oscar, let me educate you for a minute, brother. If Teofimo Lopez wants to fight Josh Taylor, he's going to have to move up to 140. Taylor is not moving down to 135. It doesn't make sense. Why would he move down to 135 when he's undisputed at 140. If anything, he would move up, but he's not going to move down. And why would Terrence Crawford move down to 140? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe, but you know what? Maybe it makes sense to you. So if that's the logic that you're running with, I just say, hey, man, that you know, I don't.
You're right, Coach. You're right, Coach. My bad. I'm sorry. We gonna run with that because that's what he thinks. We gonna run with that.
Yeah. He said on Southside Boxing, I don't like Taylor, Coach. I respect him as a fighter, but I think he's a disrespectful loudmouth. I'm not down with that. I'm a man that treats you with respect. Yeah, I mean, I think what happened on Southside Boxing, Taylor was using psychological warfare to try to get up under Ramirez's skin, and then he apologized to him in the locker room. He said, "Man, listen, man, I apologize. You know, I was just trying to get up under your skin. I have a great deal of respect for you," and that's what he did.
Yeah, he did that on camera also, Southside. He apologized
to that
man
Southside,
and said he was sorry. So I have respect for Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's a great fighter. I think he's dominant at 140. If Teofimo fights him, I think he beats Teofimo. I don't see nobody beating Josh Taylor at 35 or 40. At 47, it's an entirely different animal, and Taylor is not going to do well. But at 40, I don't see nobody beating him.
Yeah, Jason, I don't know where you're going at with all this stuff. Who was the last big fighter that Crawford fought? Dude, we don't went over this 1,000 times. I don't know where you're going at with this, but I tell you what, you got that. Whatever you say, Jason, whatever you say. You know, because we keep saying that, you know, listen, Crawford has a promoter. If the promoter ain't making the fights, you know what I mean, then, you know, could they use the same argument? This is what get me with these guys. These are the same dudes that'll say Bob Arum is a terrible promoter. These are the same dudes that'll say that Bob is a terrible promoter. Bob can't get the big fights. And then they'll say that, well, this fight ain't fought no big fights at 147, while at the same time acknowledging that the promoter is the reason why this fighter's not getting big fights at 147. Like, does that make sense to you, Bo?
Nah, not at all.
These guys, this is how you know either these guys are slow, they stupid, or they just hate Crawford that much. You guys, some of you, the ones who are asking these dumbass questions, you are the same ones that'll say that Bob Arum is a terrible promoter. He is against Terrence Crawford. Bob Arum is the reason why Crawford can't get these big fights. But then you'll turn right around and blame it on Crawford for not fighting the big name fighters in the 147 division, while at the same time acknowledging that Bob Arum is the reason why he can't get the fights at the 147 division. You either are you slow or you stupid. Literally. And if I offend you, I do not apologize. Bye, Felicia. You can unsubscribe and you can leave. I don't need you. Literally. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hey, Sheldon, this is crazy. These are the same people that would say Bud ain't fought nobody at 147. Errol Spence doing all the heavy lifting. Errol Spence has a better situation with Al Heyman than Terrence Crawford has with Top Rank. Al Heyman ain't talking bad about Errol Spence. Al Heyman is making fights for Errol Spence. You guys are the same dudes that'll turn around and say Crawford ain't fighting nobody at 147. He ain't fought nobody at 147. But then to turn around and say that, hey, you know what? The reason why he ain't fought nobody because Bob Arum is a bad promoter and he is against Bud and Bob ain't making these fights happen. So which one is it? Is Terrence Crawford ducking fighters? He ain't fighting the best at 147, or is it Bob Arum not making the fights happen? And if the fighter is signed to a contract under the promoter and the promoter's not making the fights happen, and the promoter is openly coming out in public saying, I don't believe in this fight anymore, I don't like this fight anymore, I'm the reason why I'm not making these fights happen, how the hell are you going to blame that fight and blame the promoter at the same time? You either got to be slow or stupid as hell.
And this is for Eddie Usman. And Mean Machine destroys Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
Hey, my thing, Coach, I think a lot of these guys, they just regurgitate everything they hear from their favorite, LDBC channels. All they do is regurgitate the exact same thing, and they run interference every time when it looks like Crawford is threatening to, he's going to fight Spence, they start running at who has Crawford for? Who has Crawford for? Yeah. But then when it dies off, then it's like, oh, it's Bob Arum. It's Bob Arum. And it's like they just regurgitating the same nonsense that they already heard from somebody else. And they don't even have facts. They just doing that just because Crawford is threatening Spence. That's all that is.
This is beyond. And then this is the thing. When I bring stuff and ask them direct questions that relate to that, they'll deflect. They won't even listen. Again, I'm not even going to repeat myself because these dudes is clearly slow at this point. Philly Fly, what you say, fam? How can Crawford get his stuff together if he's under a contract? Exactly. Everybody who understands the sport of boxing understands that. Everybody who understands the sport of boxing understands that. How are you going to sit back and criticize Crawford for not fighting fighters with that's on the PBC? He ain't fought Spence. He ain't fought Sean Porter. He haven't fought Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman ain't fought in 2 years. Oh, he ain't fight Manny Pacquiao.
Hey, I even heard him say he ain't fight Ugas. That's another narrative they've been saying.
But then they'll turn right around and acknowledge the reason why Crawford haven't fought these guys is because of Bob Arum. And Bob Arum comes out openly in public and say, I'm the one that killed the Manny Pacquiao fight when they was with Top Rank. Bo Mack sit right here and say, hey, listen, man, the reason why the fighting happened with Manny Pacquiao, there was no money. You're going to blame the fighter for what the promoter does. All because you don't like the fighter. Rid of me that Batman. I'm through talking to y'all about that. Bro, you wasting your finger. I promise y'all will not acknowledge you ever again in life. I promise you that. You might as well go back to the LGBC channel. I ain't gonna block you. I just ain't gonna acknowledge you no more. I promise you.
He said in life.
In life. I promise you. I'm dead ass serious. Anyway, Southside Boss. What you say, Sam? Go ahead.
Facts, Halim. Tell him again. Let Josh Taylor enjoy his moment, man. Why are we trying to push Josh Taylor into a fight? Josh Taylor just became undisputed. Let the man enjoy himself, man. Let him get ready for his next fight. Leave Josh Taylor out the mix.
Let's see, Coach, as you know, it's not easy. It's not as easy as that. There are many people in the background, and they all want it their way. Yeah, it's Southside Boss. You know, they don't know. They don't know. These dudes slow as hell. Jason, you are slow as hell, brother. You slow. I'm pretty sure, Jason. If I am insulting you, Jason, I mean to. I mean to really insult you. You are slow. You rode the short yellow bus with the dark tinted windows when you went to school. You are on the wrong channel, sir. Bye, Felicia. Anyways, Halim, what you say, fam? Jason Taylor just can't. Josh Taylor just can't undisputed. Why the hell people chatting about Crawford versus Taylor? Exactly. Crawford can fight. Crawford should be well, if Bob Arum make that happen, he can fight. Still fight Virgil Ortiz. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see that fight. You know what I mean? But apparently he has a promoter that's not trying to get him fights. He can't do that in the contract.
I got a dip, but I love the conversation. As always, Coach. Bo, you know how we do it. I'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right, have a good one, Joe.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this up, man. So shout out to my brother Shelton Moore. We're gonna ring the Ali Bell from my brother Shelton. And we're going to ring the Ali Bell for my brother Halim. Halim, what's going on, fam? Southside Boxing. We're going to ring the Ali Bell for Southside Boxing. And my brother Bo, man. I love my brother Bo, man. This is a really good dude, man. Really solid brother, man. I really love this brother, man. We're going to give everybody a shout out, except them slow people that's in the chat. I would not acknowledge you ever again. But y'all need to kick, you got to kick rocks. Shout out to my brother Philly Fly.
All right, Coach, I'm up. Before you start the shout out, man, I'm just going to go ahead and get off and whatnot. And thanks for having me on again, man. And catch up with you tomorrow.
Okay, fam. Hey, listen, we're going live tomorrow at 3 o'clock, man. Shout out to my brother Bo. We're going to hit the Ali Bell for my brother Bo. All right, other than that, man, that's it. We're going to wrap this up. Shout out to my brother Philly Fly, man. I got much love for you, fam. Shout out to my brother Elvis. Shout out to my brother Halim. Hey, man, Halim. Hey, let's make the Ali Bell for Halim, man. I ain't want to hit it too hard, you know what I mean? But shout out to my brother Halim. Shout out to my brother Philly Fly. Shout out to who else we have? Shout out to Pound for Pound Boxing, the real news. Shout out to I said Joe B. Shout out to Proud Father. Shout out to Lisa Bells, who was here earlier. Shout out to Carmen Serene, who was here earlier. Let's see. Shout out to Postman. Shout out to Postman. Shout out to who else we have. Shout out to Beast Mode. Even though I disagree with you, Beast Mode, but again, you're on the wrong channel, brother. Go back to the Alphabet Boy community. Shout out to Arian Yuta. Shout out to Bacon and Eggs. Shout out to my brother Southside Boxing again. Shout out to God Nuke. Is it Gad Nuke? I know I'm killing your name. Shout out to Oscar De La Boya. Shout out to Red Hawk. Let's see who else we have. Shout out to Graham Taylor. Shout out to Gerardo Barrera. Shout out to you, fam. Who else we have? Who else we have? I think I said shout out to my brother Peter Von Arts. Shout out to Philly Fly. Hey man, that Philly Fly, that's a cool ass name, bro. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Shout out to Javis Bickle. Joe B in the building. Southside Boxing, man. Southside Boxing, that's a good guy. Shout out to Graham Taylor, man. Shout out to Bruce Leroy. Hey man. Shout out, hey man, for sure, man, for sure. Shout out to Bacon and Eggs. You know what I mean? Other than that, shout out to my brother Dragon Leg. Other than that, man, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Once again, it's our boy Coach Malachi Williams, represent for New Media Today, USA Boxing. We're going live tomorrow at 3 o'clock, guys. We're going to address a whole lot of different boxing topics. We're going live tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you live in the UK, that's going to be 8 o'clock UK time. Other than that, this is our boy Coach Malachi Williams, signing out for New Media Today, USA Boxing Podcast. Peace.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go. Come on.